Chapter 2009. Black Crow ordered his men to sail back. The waves stirred up by the yacht reflected Su Yun and the rest's feelings. As long as they reached Black Crow's lair in Donging, they would be able to control his entire gang. They might even be able to retrieve some of the cultural relics that originally belonged to Hua Xia from Black Crow. They were at least a few hours away by sea from Donging. It should be around 1 or 2 in the morning when they reached Donging. Su Yun and the rest needed to conserve their energy and take action once they reached Donging. It would be best if they could solve the problem as soon as possible. However, when the yacht stopped, Black Crow disappeared. When Su Yun and the rest got off the yacht, they saw a typical Donging woman in a traditional kimono. She smiled and welcomed them. "Where's Black Crow?" This was the question Su Yun was most concerned about. The woman said in slightly stiff Chinese, "Mr. Su, I'll be in charge of your arrangements today. Our boss has already left. He has to rush to the buyer's city overnight. There are some things that he needs to do personally." Su Yun was stunned. Black Crow left? He just left us like this? Leaving without saying goodbye isn't something that partners should do, right? For some reason, Su Yun felt a faint sense of uneasiness. "Mr. Su, you worry too much. Our boss is also thinking for you. After all, time is the most important thing now." The woman in the kimono said gently, "Also, the boss has instructed me to bring the 3 of you to a safe place first. Please follow me and wait for the good news." "Brother, why do I feel that something is wrong with Black Crow?" Lin Gu said warily, "We should be careful." Wan Shao looked at the wooden box in his arms. If Black Crow wanted something, it would definitely be this golden Buddha head. As long as he guarded this thing well, everything would be fine. "Please don't worry. Our boss really doesn't have any ill intentions. Please come with me. I'll make the 3 of you feel at home." After the woman in the kimono finished speaking, she waved her hand. A Toyota business car slowly drove in front of Su Yun. This was the car they had arranged. "You mean you want to take us back to your safe place and wait for your boss to come back? Su Yun, if you can get to Black Crow's nest first, that's fine too. At least you can figure out the situation first." The woman in the kimono nodded. "Yes, please. We won't let you down." "Then let's go. We can't waste our time here." Su Yun said to Wan Shao and Lin Gu, if Black Crow had any ulterior motives, he would have made a move on the ship. He wouldn't have waited until now, right? "I think so too." Wan Shao nodded. "We'd better be careful." Lin Ji's intuition made him feel very uneasy. "But we don't have a choice now. Since we're already here, let's take things as they come. What's the big deal?" Su Yun said, "If Black Crow wants to take advantage of others, his reputation will be completely destroyed. Who would dare to do business with him in the future? Let's go and see what he's arranged for us." The electric car door slowly slid open. Su Yun was the first to get in, followed by Wan Shao and Lin Gu. After the door closed, the woman in the kimono walked to the front and sat in the front passenger seat. She nodded at the young man driving, indicating that they could start the car. The car drove for about an hour. Just as Lin Gu and Wan Shao lost their patience, they arrived at their destination. To Su Yun's surprise, the woman brought them to a hot spring hotel. Black Crow's nest was set in such a place? This was something that Su Yun and the other 2 did not expect. This cover was too good. In Dongyin, hot springs could be seen everywhere. They should be a country that liked to soak in hot springs the most. "Mr. Su, Mr. Wan, we're here. Let's get out of the car." The woman in the kimono took good care of the 3 and accompanied them closely. "This is—" Su Yun expressed his doubts after getting out of the car. The woman in the kimono smiled. "The 3 of you have worked hard along the way. Our boss has booked rooms for the 3 of you. Today, the 3 of you will stay in this hot spring hotel. The environment here is very good. Also, our beautiful Dongyin girls will serve the 3 of you." Su Yun was stunned. "Isn't this your—" "This is a very famous hot spring hotel nearby," the woman in the kimono said. "That's it. Soo-yoon felt like he had been tricked by Black Crow. Black Crow, this fellow. He left just like that. He had really caught them off guard. Who knew what kind of tricks he was playing? The woman in the kimono nodded. Of course. Let's go, brother. It's so late. Black Crow definitely won't come out. Since he arranged it, let's enjoy ourselves. Lin-gu said, soak in the hot spring and have a good rest. If there's anything, it will definitely be resolved tomorrow. Then help us thank your boss for his kindness. Soo-yoon said, since it's all arranged, we'll do as you say. The three of them entered the hot spring hotel under the guidance of the woman in the kimono. They checked in according to the rooms they had booked. The woman in the kimono bowed deeply to show her respect for each person she sent to their room. Once the three of them had entered their respective rooms, she went to arrange for the girls to serve their guests. Soo-yoon looked around the hot spring hotel. It was indeed good. There was an independent hot spring outside each room. This was really a cultural characteristic of Dongying. But when it came to soaking, Dongying was definitely the best at it in the world. They had all kinds of baths. Rich people in other countries in the world usually had their own swimming pools in their villas. In Dongying, rich people usually had their own hot springs. They preferred to soak in hot springs than swimming. And they liked to soak in hot springs with men and women. They didn't feel embarrassed when they were all naked. Just before Soo-yoon entered the room, he could see many men and women in a large public hot spring through the corridor. He was quite surprised. Were there still so many people soaking in the hot spring at this time? Soo-yoon didn't know that it wasn't a hot spring at all. It was a film company called Something Hot. They were shooting a Dongying male and female action romance film in the hot spring. Every city in every country in the world had their own specialties. It was very convenient to go to Dongying. If you wanted to buy specialties, you could go to the video store. It was full of Dongying specialties. Because these film companies, which specialized in male and female action romance movies, were unscrupulously shooting movies in public places, they were reported by many residents for being indecent, especially in places like hot springs. Such indecent things often happened, so these film companies arranged to shoot at night. At this time, there were no regular customers in the public hot springs, so they could be unscrupulous. However, the incessant cries made many people feel awkward. Lin-gu was the closest to the set. He heard it clearly in the room. He was so surprised that he said several times, "This place is too F***ing open. This place is too open. It's really open." The first thing Wen Xiao did after entering the room was to put the wooden box with the Buddha's head next to the pillow. He would definitely hug this thing to sleep later. He couldn't be careless for even a second. He definitely wouldn't touch the tea and snacks prepared in the hot spring hotel to avoid any accidents. Chapter 2010. Soo-yoon simply went to wash his face. It was really late. If it weren't for the blushing cries coming from outside, he would really want to go to bed early. But now, he felt that it would be good to go to the leaky hot spring pool outside the door to enjoy it. Soo-yoon didn't notice that there were disposable inflatable earplugs next to the pillows on the bed. Obviously, the hot spring hotel knew that some film companies would film some movies here at night that would disturb the guests' sleep. But fortunately, few guests would really stay. Most of the guests would leave after enjoying the hot spring during the day. The rooms were just a temporary place for them to rest, change their clothes, put down their things, and drink some tea. And some guests liked to enjoy the hot spring in the small hot spring pool in the rooms. More generally, the owners of these hot spring hotels didn't seem to dare to offend the presidents of those special film companies. The presidents of these film companies were not ordinary people. They were all backed by very powerful gangs. That was why these film companies were so unscrupulous. In fact, this was already very restrained for him. At least during the day, they didn't disturb the business of the hot spring hotel. They only arrived after 9 o'clock in the evening. The staff needed to prepare a little bit of equipment. The actors and actresses also needed to get to know each other and be mentally prepared before they could start. So it was normal for the shooting to take until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Before Soo-yoon could go to the hot spring pool to enjoy life, there was a knock on the door. He quickly got up and opened the door. What Su-Yun didn't understand was that a bunny girl with a hot body appeared in front of Su-Yun. Su-Yun was stunned. So familiar. Isn't this Hatano? Oh my god, did Hatano-sensei come to the wrong set? That was where the movie was shot. Su-Yun really didn't know how to react when she came to Su-Yun's place. He heard Hatano-sensei murmur in Japanese, "Please let me serve you." What the hell? Su-Yun quickly looked around. There was no camera equipment. What the hell is going on? Wait. Mr. Bordeaux, you're in the wrong place. Your set is over there. Su-Yun quickly pointed in the direction of the voice and said to the fiery bunny girl in front of him, "I'm just a guest staying here. I'm not filming a movie." Hatano was overjoyed and asked excitedly, "You know me?" I think most men know you," Su-Yun said, "especially after you participated in the filming of Dopeng's Loser. Most people are more familiar with you." Hurry up and do your work. The male actor over there must be waiting anxiously for you." "I'm not here to shoot today. I was specially invited to accompany you," Hatano said seriously. "I'm here to accompany you to experience the Japanese hot spring bath." Su-Yun was stunned. This black crow was too polite. He even got such a famous, female movie queen. This was really unexpected. More importantly, Hatano-sensei and Ling Jiling were so similar that even if Su-Yun wanted to, he couldn't do it. This was really a huge surprise. "You're too polite. I'm not very interested in this." Fortunately, Su-Yun's Japanese was not bad, so he could explain clearly. "Please don't be polite. It's my task to accompany you today." "I'll do my best," Hatano said very seriously. "I'm telling the truth. I really don't need it." Su-Yun really didn't know how to refuse, so he had to make up a lie. "Actually, I'm not straight, I'm gay. This is too difficult to talk about. Do you understand?" Hatano was surprised and her face was full of pity. "You're so handsome, but you're gay. Sigh, it's really a pity. But I can understand you. I support your attitude towards life. This is not shameful at all. Don't feel that it's difficult to talk about." Su-Yun nodded. "It's best that you can understand, so please. Then do you need me to help you find a man?" Hatano was very enthusiastic. Su-Yun shook his head like a rattledrum. No, I don't need anything now. I'm too tired. I just want to have a good rest. Thank you for your kindness, Hatano-sensei. I appreciate it. I'll support your work in the future. Although we can't buy the original version and can only download pirated versions online, I'll still support you. Then let's work hard together." Hatano made a gesture to Su-Yun to cheer him on. "Take care. I won't see you out." After Su-Yun closed the door, his mind was in a blank state. This was too dreamy. He really needed to digest it. A few minutes later, the door was knocked again. Su-Yun, who was still leaning on the door, was shocked. He thought, "Is Hatano-sensei back again? This is really not good." Su-Yun was really conservative. He couldn't accept such a hard-drive character having a story with himself. "Brother. It's me." "You open the door quickly. What's the situation?" Lin Gu shouted outside the door. Upon hearing Lin Ji's voice, Su-Yun Kai heaved a sigh of relief and opened the door. "What's wrong?" I was just going to soak in the hot spring, and then, how should I say it? It's Eri Momotanni, the one in your hard drive, my hard drive, everyone's hard drive. You know. Lin Gu said. She knocked on my door. I said that she went to the wrong place, but she was right. She said that she's serving me. Lin Gu clearly couldn't accept this sudden turn of events, and he looked very agitated. Don't be anxious. Speak slowly. When Su-Yun heard that it wasn't him, he felt a lot better. But why wasn't it Eri Momotanni who came to find him? He seemed to like Teacher Momotanni more. I'm a man with a wife. If she brought a camera in and filmed me, what if Fong Yi knows? Lin Gu said, I really didn't do anything. Lin Gu hadn't explained the matter clearly, and when Xiao rushed to Su Yun's side. The 3 rooms weren't too far apart, but they weren't close either. Wan Xiao carried the wooden box to Su Yun's door. Do you know who knocked on my door just now? Ma. Sheng. She. What the hell? Isn't this the person who made the hard drive movie? She scared me to death. She said that it was arranged by the boss. Could it be that it was arranged by Black Crow? Is there someone looking for you? It's not a scam, right? Su Yun and Lin Gu nodded vigorously. Yes. Black Crow is really polite. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Isn't this arrangement too sumptuous? If I knew it wasn't a scam, I wouldn't have chased her away. Wen Xiao shook his head helplessly. It's not bad to have someone to help me bathe in the hot spring. You have quite a heavy taste. Lin Gu was surprised. You dare to accept such people? Why don't you think about their profession? Anyway, I can't accept it. We didn't say anything, just bathing in the hot spring together. Wen Xiao said. Su Yun and Lin Gu shook their heads and said in unison, who would believe that bathing in the hot spring together wouldn't cause any problems? Men can't control themselves. Wen Xiao thought for a while and nodded. That makes sense. Indeed, I can't control myself. But isn't it a pity to leave just like that? Chapter 20:11. If you regret letting them go, it might not be too late to call for them now, Su Yun said. Do you want me to help you call for them? Maybe they haven't gone far. Wan Xiao hurriedly pulled Su Yun back. I think we should forget about it. I don't have the fortune to enjoy it. Just as the 3 of them experienced such a dreamy scene, the woman in the kimono appeared in front of them once again. Her footsteps were rather hurried as she walked in. When she saw the 3 of them gathered at the door of Su Yun's room, she immediately maintained the smile on her face. Mr. Su. The woman in the kimono walked up to the 3 of them. The 3 of them had not completely recovered from the earlier incident, so their reactions were not particularly big. They only made a few N sounds as a greeting. The woman in the kimono had an apologetic expression. Is it because the 3 of us did not satisfy the 3 of you just now? Then did Black Crow really prepare them for us? Wen Xiao said. He has quite a heavy taste. I'm sorry, we're all very conservative. The 3 teachers just now are too famous. We've all grown up watching their works, so we really can't accept it. Su Yun said politely, I'm still very grateful for Black Crow's enthusiasm. The woman in the kimono nodded thoughtfully. In that case, if the 3 of you can't accept it, I will arrange something else for the 3 of you. If you have any special hobbies, the 3 of you can tell me clearly. We still don't need anything. Lin Gu said rather loyally. He was a man with a wife. We are already very tired. What we need now is rest. Su Yun expressed his support. That's right, we really just need to rest. We are not used to the sea journey, so we barely slept. What we need now is a good sleep. This is our only request. The woman in the kimono understood. She bowed apologetically and said, Then I am sorry to disturb the 3 of you. Please have a good rest. I will not let anyone disturb the 3 of you again. At this time, the crew and actors who had finished filming the hard drive movie at the public hot spring pool had finished their work. Regardless of whether it was the male or female actors, they walked past them without any embarrassment. The entire hot spring hotel suddenly became very quiet. This kind of environment was suitable for a good sleep. Have a good rest. I'll take my leave first. The woman in the kimono finally took her leave. Su Yun waved goodbye and told Wen Xiao and Lin Gu to rest. He was really tired now. After the crowd dispersed, Su Yun comfortably soaked in the hot spring for a while and then slept comfortably. Su Yun was not worried about Wen Xiao's energy at all. After boarding Black Crow's yacht, Lin Gu told Wen Xiao to make the best use of the time to conserve energy. The one who should be sleepy right now should be Lin Gu, but Wen Zhao's energy should not be too bad. When Wen Zhao returned to his room, he didn't let go of the wooden box. Whether he was soaking in the hot spring or lying down to think, he always held the wooden box. The golden Buddha head in the box was definitely more important than his life to Wen Zhao. Lin Gu fell asleep the fastest. He was not in the mood to enjoy the hot spring. He only knew that if he slept enough, he would be more energetic when dealing with people in the morning. After arranging for the three of them to sleep, the woman in the kimono returned to the Toyota MPV. She followed Black Crow's instructions and immediately made a call back. "Boss." The gentle expression on the woman's face when she faced Su Yun and the others had completely disappeared. She appeared very calm. The first thing Black Crow did when he picked up the phone was to look at his watch. After seeing the time, his brows quickly furrowed. "They didn't accept the service?" "Yes." The woman nodded. "They rejected it very straightforwardly. That CEO Su even said that he's not straight. That's why they didn't accept it." Black Crow's expression was uncertain. This was their rule. He did not believe that Yi Wanyang would not tell the three traders such an important thing. The sellers and traders who came to Black Crow as the middleman had to pass this test. They had to accept the hot spring service arranged by extremely seductive women, but they had to resist the teasing of these women during the service. In other words, they could not do it with real weapons. This was to use their endurance and restraint to show Black Crow the importance they attached to this transaction. This had always been Black Crow's rule. He had made it clear to all the sellers that this was not his first transaction with Yi Wanyang. They had worked together many times, so it was impossible that Yi Wanyang did not know the rules. Yi Wanyang's traders had always been very obedient. This time, these three people did not play by the rules. Naturally, Black Crow felt uneasy. Black Crow carefully recalled the details of his last contact with Yi Wanyang. Soon, Black Crow figured out something from Yi Wanyang's words. There was definitely something wrong with this transaction. Black Crow's expression became more and more unsightly. "I understand. Continue to keep an eye on them. When they wake up tomorrow, tell them that I haven't returned yet." "Yes, boss." The woman nodded. After thinking carefully for a while, Black Crow said, "Find 3 more women tomorrow morning and test them again. If they still don't follow the rules, inform me immediately. I will be prepared." "I understand, boss." The woman's answer was very calm. "Poison Cherry, you must stay calm and do what you should do." Black Crow said, "Even if there is a problem, we must settle this matter." "Yes." The woman was called Poison Cherry. She was a poisonous cherry blossom. She looked so gentle and beautiful on the outside, but if anyone dared to pluck it and smell it, the consequences would not be so beautiful. Black Crow's business in Dongying was very smooth. It was inseparable from Poison Cherry. It could be said that this woman was his benefactor in business. She had given him too much help. After hanging up, Black Crow began to think about tomorrow's matter. In fact, he did not need to contact any buyers. He only needed time to test every new face that came to him for business. This time, there were 3 new faces. He had to treat them with caution. Otherwise, he would die a horrible death. He knew this very well. However, this time, he really did not believe that the other party would dare to play tricks with a golden Buddha head worth more than 300 million. He really could not believe this, really. It was better to be safe than sorry. No matter what, Black Crow would not let go of any abnormal situation. Even if Yi Wanyang was a very important business partner of his, he still had to be careful. If there was a problem with these 3 people, it could only mean that something had happened to Yi Wanyang in Huaxia. If he called him to continue this transaction, he would definitely not be trying to harm him. If something had really happened to Yi Wanyang, then he would call him to continue this transaction. Perhaps, he wanted him to help him take revenge? This might be the best explanation. Black Crow put down his phone and closed his eyes tightly. Everything was still confusing. However, he believed that by tomorrow, the results would be out. There was nothing in the world that could not be exposed. As long as he was patient enough, as long as he was careful enough, even if there was a conspiracy, he would definitely be able to give the other party a heavy blow before it was carried out. Who cares what the other party was up to? Bring it on. Black Crow's lips curled up slightly. If he was afraid of trouble, he would not be here today. Chapter 2012. The next morning, when Su Yun and the others woke up, the first thing they saw were 3 beautiful Japanese girls. What they wanted to do was exactly the same as what the 3 teachers had done yesterday. They entered the room and stated their purpose very directly. To put it nicely, it was called morning room service. Of course, Su Yun and the others refused. It was not like they had nothing to do. Why were they soaking in the Mandarin Duck Spring so early in the morning? Wasn't Black Crow's enthusiasm a little too exaggerated? However, this was understandable. Shen Jiang took a ship to Japan and they had to change ships. It would take nearly 3 days. There were no women on the ship for 3 days, so Black Crow's special way of entertaining them was understandable. After the rejected women returned to Poison Cherry was strongly guarded against Su Yun and the others. After Poison Cherry conveyed everything to Black Crow, Su Yun and the others appeared not far away. A gentle smile immediately appeared on Poison Cherry's face. "Mr. Su, did you have a good rest?" "Pretty good." Su Yun nodded. "But you are really too enthusiastic. Although we have been on the ship for 2 or 3 days, we don't have to think about those things as soon as we get off the ship. Business is more important. I don't know if Mr. Black Crow has contacted the buyer." Poison Cherry smiled. "Don't worry, the boss has already contacted the buyer. Mr. Su, you just need to be a little more patient. We all hope to be more careful." "That's right, we need to be more careful." Su Yun, "But the waiting time is too unbearable. We can't bring such a relic to Tokyo. I hope you can ask Mr. Black Crow if we can go to a relatively safe private area." Lin Gur also said, "That's right, we urgently need a sense of security now. If Mr. Black Crow only arranges for us to stay in such a public place, we can't accept it. Isn't it too messy to film an action romance movie at night? Don't worry, this place belongs to our boss's friend. We won't accept outsiders here." Poison Cherry said, "Even the people who filmed the movie yesterday were our own people. The owner of this hot spring has a position in the film company that filmed the movie yesterday." Su Yun was stunned. This relationship was quite complicated. He didn't expect Japan to have such a complicated network of relationships. It was like Hua Xia. Didn't they say that a lot of things overseas depended on one's ability and not on connections like in China? But this place isn't Black Crow's territory. We don't feel safe. When Xiao insisted, "If the item is on you, you will definitely ask to move to a safer place. At the very least, that place should belong to Black Crow. Otherwise, how can we feel safe?" When Xiao had already made his request very clear. They wanted to go to Black Crow's territory. This was their most basic requirement, the lowest requirement. If they couldn't even fulfill this requirement, then they wouldn't trust Black Crow anymore. Poison Cherry nodded. "I understand your thoughts. Our boss has also considered this point, so today I want to bring the 3 of you to a safe place. Go to our boss's territory. Once you get there, you will be safe. It would have been better if we had arranged this earlier." Lin Gu breathed a sigh of relief. "Let's go now. The sooner we get there, the safer we will be." "Yes, we are ready to go at any time." Poison Cherry nodded. When she informed her boss, Black Crow, about the situation, Black Crow immediately made arrangements for her. Black Crow had already guessed that if the other party had a problem, they would definitely ask to go to their headquarters and find their nest. Because that was the only way to deal a one-time blow to them. Black Crow told Poison Cherry that as long as they made this request, they would agree to it. But the premise was that they didn't know the way to their nest. As for the rest, they would wait for the 3 of them to arrive. Black Crow was very cunning. He knew the other party's purpose very well, so he played a trick on Su Yun and the others. When the time came, they would close the door. Even if they had great abilities, they wouldn't be able to escape. Su Yun and the others didn't realize that Yi Wan-yang would play tricks at the last moment, so they didn't think that Black Crow might suspect them. Yi Wan-yang's scheme succeeded. As long as he didn't explain a few key points, Su Yun and Wen Zhao's identities would be exposed by Black Crow when they arrived in Dongying. At that time, they wouldn't be able to do whatever they wanted. With Black Crow's power in Dongying, he would definitely not let Su Yun and the others off easily. Yi Wan-yang was such a person. Even if he didn't have a chance to live, as long as he had the slightest chance, he would make those who caused him to die with him. Su Yun, Wen Zhao, just wait to be buried with me. Yi Wan-yang, who was locked up in the prison, raised his head and looked at the dim ceiling. He hadn't slept for an entire night. If everything went smoothly and according to his plan, he was sure that Black Crow would have sensed something by now. As long as Black Crow sensed something, Su Yun and Wan Zhao wouldn't have a good time. They would be played to death by Black Crow. Black Crow, Black Crow. Although they were only business partners, Yi Wan-yang and Black Crow still admired each other. Both of them were cautious, so they respected each other. Yi Wan-yang believed that once Black Crow realized that something was wrong with him, he would definitely help him take revenge. As long as he didn't let Su Yun and Wen Zhao leave Japan alive, Yi Wan-yang could die without regrets. Black Crow was indeed prepared. He was waiting for Su Yun and Wen Zhao's arrival. It was possible for them to enter his lair, but whether or not they could leave alive was a problem. Once the cultural relic smuggling deal was discussed, both parties couldn't have any contact during the trading period because any contact during the trading period could be targeted by the police. Everyone followed the rules, and no one would break this rule. Moreover, Black Crow didn't need to confirm anything with Yi Wan-yang. If there was something wrong with the people who came to trade, then something must have happened to Yi Wan-yang. Even if he contacted Yi Wan-yang and asked about the situation, the answer he got would be fake. Black Crow wasn't that stupid. He could solve this problem by himself. He also believed that this problem couldn't stump him at all. At this time, Su Yun and the other two got into the car with Poison Cherry's help. After getting in the car, Poison Cherry closed all the built-in curtains around the car. It's so dark. I'm not used to it. Su Yun still wanted to memorize the route. As he spoke, he wanted to open the curtains. Mr. Su, I don't think you'll do that. The business you're doing now is shady, Poison Cherry said. Poison Cherry said, besides, I need all of you to wear an eye mask. This is the rule here. If the people outside see so many blindfolded people in the car, I believe they will be suspicious. So you'd better cooperate with my arrangements. Wan Zhao glared. What do you mean? Eye masks? Black Crow, aren't you going overboard? We're business partners. Don't you have such basic trust? If that's the case, I can't accept it. Chapter 2013. What's the most important thing between people? It's trust. Lin Gu shook his head and said, since Black Crow doesn't even have this little bit of trust, then we really don't have much confidence in him. Poison Cherry still had a gentle smile on her face. Yes, there should be trust between people. Especially as partners, we should trust each other even more. So, we hope that the three of you will cooperate with our rules here. Because if our boss goes to Huaxia one day, he will definitely cooperate with you and abide by your rules. Su Yun suddenly realized that the woman in charge of receiving them was not as simple as he thought. She was extremely scheming, and she did not show any abnormalities on the surface. She looked like a weak and powerless woman, but in reality, she was just a weak and powerless woman. Su Yun suddenly felt that he could not see through her at all. Just based on the speed of this debate, this woman was not a simple woman. If she was just an ordinary weak woman, how could she react so quickly and turn the tables around? What you said is meaningless. Black Crow going back to Huaxia with his current identity? Does he dare? Wan Zhao said disdainfully, he's staying in Dongying because he doesn't dare to go back to Huaxia. Otherwise, do you think he didn't dig up the undiscovered tombs in Huaxia and came to Dongying to poke at small graves? Poison Cherry was not angry at all because of the other party's belittling of Black Crow. She still smiled at Wan Zhao. Yes, our boss is on Hua Xia's blacklist. He doesn't dare to go back easily. It's good that you know. Lin Gu also said, then don't make your relationship with us Hua Xia's partners so tense. Otherwise, if no one works with him in the future, what will he use to support you guys? It's because our boss is already on Hua Xia's blacklist that he is more careful now. He doesn't want to be on Dong Ying's blacklist again. Poison Cherry smiled. He believes that Hua Xia's friends who are willing to maintain long-term cooperation with him will definitely support and understand him. After saying that, Poison Cherry handed 3 black eye masks to the 3 of them. This woman's words were really watertight and very cautious. With this ability, it was really not something that ordinary people could deal with. Since everything she said was reasonable, as a collaborator, Su Yun had no reason to decline. Forget it. In order to not arouse the other party's suspicion and to not let the other party be wary of him, Su Yun took the lead and picked up the blindfold in Poison Cherry's hands. I'm only doing this to show my trust in Black Crow. Su Yun said, I hope that when the time comes, Black Crow will trust me even more. Don't worry, Mr. Su. Our boss will let you thoroughly understand what kind of person he is through this transaction. To him, his reputation is more important than his life. As Poison Cherry spoke, she didn't put down the eye mask. Left with no choice, Wan Xiao and Lin Gu also took an eye mask and put it on their heads. It had to be said that the quality of the Dongying goods was pretty good. Just a small eye mask was much better than the one sold on Hua Xia's Taobao. It was thick, breathable, and most importantly, it was very good at blocking out the light. Under such a sunny day, they couldn't even see a speck of light. It was pitch black. Damn, Su Yun laughed bitterly in his heart. It was really too dark. I say, sister, that's enough. It's time to set off, right? Wen Xiao said impatiently after putting on the eye mask, I'm hugging this thing and can't see. I don't feel safe at all. You'd better not do anything secretly. Seeing that the 3 of them had put on their eye masks, Poison Cherry gestured for them to start the car. The smile on her face disappeared and her expression turned cold. However, her voice was still as gentle as before. I wouldn't dare. It's not the first time I've helped my boss receive customers. I know that anyone who dares to bring cultural relics to Dongying for trade is an expert. Even if you can't see it, you'll be able to sense it if I'm up to no good. Wan Xiao nodded. It's good that you know. If I sense anything, I'll make a move. Don't blame me if I hurt you. I won't, Poison Cherry said. I'll just sit here and won't move. If you don't believe me, I can sing for you. I'll keep singing. Come on then, Wen Xiao said. They couldn't see, but it was good for them to hear something. At least they could tell if she was up to something from her singing. Poison Cherry didn't hesitate at all. She cleared her throat and started singing a Dongying ballad. One had to admit that this woman's voice was very pleasant to listen to. At this time, even Su Yun made the same mistake as Wen Xiao. They thought that by letting Poison Cherry sing, they could judge if she was up to no good. Poison Cherry's idea was that her singing could block out the other sounds outside the car. Sometimes, it wasn't only the human eyes that could remember the road. The human ears could also remember the road. Every street had its own unique sound. Every street presented different things, so the sound it gave to the outside world was also different. However, this principle wasn't something that people could understand in a short period of time. Su Yun had always remembered the road with his eyes and his body. He felt every turn the car made and the speed of the car. Then, he drew a huge map in his mind. This memory method was quite useful for Su Yun. At least, Su Yun was still drawing the road map in his mind. How long will it take? Lin Gu began to lose his patience after putting on the blindfold. This feeling of being at the mercy of others was very unpleasant. At least, Lin Gu couldn't accept it at all. Every inch of his body was very uneasy. However, the singing Poison Cherry didn't care about Lin Ji's question at all. She continued singing in a gentle voice. Lin Gu didn't get any response. He knew that he was asking for trouble, so he didn't say anything else. He sat on the seat in boredom. This kind of anxiety was even more torturous than when he angered Fengya. Soon, Su Yun felt the car take a detour again. The map in his mind was starting to repeat the route. Is this the so-called trust? Su Yun could clearly feel that the other party didn't have much trust in them. It seemed that this mission wouldn't go as smoothly as he thought. Su Yun realized that he had to be prepared for any unforeseen events. Black Crow couldn't have full trust in them, so he would definitely be on guard against them. Therefore, it would definitely increase the difficulty of their mission. There was no doubt about this. However, since Su Yun had already decided to do something, there was no way he could change his mind. What was to happen would happen sooner or later. Even if he knew that the other party would be on guard, Su Yun would still act according to his plan. Poison Cherry sang one song after another. She didn't stop to rest during the journey. Her voice was really good. If she was in Huaxia and participated in a program like Huaxia's Voice, she would definitely make all the coaches turn their chairs around. Finally, they felt the car start to slow down. This was the rhythm of arriving at their destination. As the car slowly slowed down, it soon came to a stop. The moment the car stopped, Lin Ji's long-suppressed unhappiness was finally released. He could finally take off the blindfold. Chapter 2014. The moment he took off the blindfold, Lin Gu was completely shocked. What was this place? Japan could be considered the most developed country in Asia. Although a large part of Japan's development was due to their invasion and plundering of neighboring countries, in this economic era, one had to admit that it was the most developed country in Asia. However, in this most developed country, Lin Gu actually saw a place that was probably even poorer than many barren places in Huaxia. The surrounding simple houses and muddy ground almost made Lin Gu suspect that they were in Hokushima. Lin Gu dared to say that anyone who saw this place would first think that they were in Second Fatty Jin's country. What the hell is this place? Lin Gu couldn't help but exclaim. Su Yun and Wen Xiao quickly took off their blindfolds as well. Their first reaction was the same as Lin Ji's. They couldn't believe that there was such a poor place in Japan. After all, every inch of land in this small country was worth an inch of gold. Because there was so little land, they had to prepare to fill the sea and build land. How could such a country leave such a place and not manage it? We're here. Poison Cherry smiled slightly and said, "This place may be a little simple, but I believe that you'll get used to it soon." Where's Black Crow? This was the question that Su Yun and Wen Xiao were most concerned about. The boss will be here soon. Poison Cherry got out of the car after saying that. The three of them had no choice but to get out of the car after her. This godforsaken place was strangely quiet. Su Yun looked around. Not far in front of him, he saw withered and yellow vegetation. Looking further ahead, F*CK, there was not even a blade of grass growing. This was really a godforsaken place. Black Crow really knew how to find places. Director Su, something's not right here. Wen Zhao's sense of danger was definitely different from ordinary people. Even compared to Su Yun, his sense of danger was much stronger. His experience in Southeast Asia wasn't for nothing. With Wen Zhao's reminder, Su Yun became even more cautious. Looking at the barren land, Su Yun suddenly remembered something from a few years ago. That's right, it was the accident of the Tokyo nuclear power plant. Everyone was well aware of the dangers of nuclear radiation. The energy emitted by radioactive materials in the form of waves or particles was called nuclear radiation. Nuclear explosions and nuclear accidents all had nuclear radiation. The gamma rays contained in the radiation had a very strong penetrating power. It was an electromagnetic wave with a very short wavelength. Gamma radiation was similar to X-rays. It could penetrate the human body and buildings, and the distance of harm was quite far. Su Yun and the others were not very far from the nuclear power plant in Japan. This place was very likely to be affected by nuclear radiation. And the area in front of them where there was not an inch of soil was the place where the radiation was especially serious. Nuclear radiation could cause genetic mutations in the cells of many things. Compared to the barren land in front of them, Su Yun and the others were in a strange place. Gigantic tree branches, uneven weeds, and other phenomena were all signs of plant mutation. Su Yun suddenly realized that this damn place was a nuclear radiation area. No wonder there was not even a shadow of a person. No wonder it looked so poor. This radiation area would take a long time to eliminate the danger, so no Japanese would come to develop this place for the time being. This damn Black Crow was really cruel to himself. One had to know that nuclear radiation was very harmful to people. The biggest long-term health risk was cancer. Usually, when the body cells were damaged or aged to a certain extent, they would self-eliminate. When this self-elimination ability disappeared, the cells would obtain immortality and could continue to divide uncontrollably, which would evolve into cancer. Radioactive materials could be inhaled through breathing, skin wounds, and digestive tract, causing internal radiation. Then people would feel tired, dizzy, insomnia, skin redness, ulcers, bleeding, hair loss, leukemia, and so on. Sometimes, it would even increase the number of mutations and hereditary diseases that could affect several generations. Could it be that Black Crow did not even care about his own descendants in order to be safe in this place? Su Yun looked at the area where the radiation was very serious. If they entered that area, they might really die from myocardial infarction in a very short period of time. Su Yun had seen the consequences of people dying from radiation with his own eyes. Therefore, he was very afraid of this thing. Just 5 years ago, during a joint international anti-terrorist operation, Su Yun had to carry out a mission in a place where nuclear radiation was very serious. This mission was a combination of elites from various countries. It was to eliminate a very powerful terrorist organization's nuclear weapons research factory. This factory was on the border of Mongolia and Russia and had very serious nuclear radiation, so Su Yun and the others had to wear very high-end nuclear radiation-resistant clothes in order to carry out the mission. Of course, the workers in this factory were also wearing this kind of clothes. The glass masks of these clothes were high-grade explosion-proof glass, and the clothes themselves were also bulletproof. However, no matter how good something was, it couldn't withstand an overly intense battle. There was a soldier in the multinational anti-terrorist force that Su Yun was in. Because he was focused on by the enemy, there were enough bullets to crack the glass of his mask. He died on the spot from myocardial infarction after being exposed to radiation. What was even more terrifying was that the skin on his face had completely festered within a minute. This scene happened right before Su Yun's eyes, so Su Yun still could not forget the horror of nuclear radiation. Black Crow really wants to meet us here? Su Yun, if that's the case, then I can only say sorry. I have no interest in waiting in this place. Seeing Su Yun's sudden change of expression, Wen Xiao and Lin Guo were a little surprised. What the hell was going on? Mr. Su, you just need to be a little more patient. Our boss will be back soon, Poisonous Poison said calmly. You were the one who requested to go to such a safe place. I can guarantee you that this place is absolutely safe. No one will disturb you. Su Yun sneered. Of course no one will disturb us. This place is a nuclear radiation zone. I don't want to wait in this damn place. You don't want to live, but we do. Hearing Su Yun's words, Wan Xiao and Lin Guo were shocked. No wonder they felt that there was something wrong with this place. It was always weird. Moreover, that barren place in the distance was really terrifying. Now that they heard Su Yun say this, they completely understood. So it was the effect of nuclear radiation. F***CK. Lin Gu cursed. This was really a huge joke. What did nuclear radiation mean? It was F***King killing them. Wan Xiao hugged the wooden box even tighter. He was worried that the radiation would affect the cultural relics in the box. Mr. Su, you live too carefully. This little bit of radiation is nothing. It's normal in Japan, Poisonous Poison said. That's why there are so many perverts and deformities in Japan. Su Yun, if you think the radiation here is not a problem, then go over there. If you can come out alive, I'll wait with you. With that, Su Yun pointed at the barren place in the distance and said, If you don't dare, then take us out of here immediately. Mr. Su, Are you asking me to commit suicide? That place is not a good place. Poisonous Poison shook her head. I'm not that stupid. Chapter 2015. You know that place is a suicide site? Su Yun was shocked and confused. If she knew everything and knew that high radiation could kill people in a short time, she still dared to come to such a place. The radiation's effects and penetrative power can't be avoided at such a short distance. Those barren places belong to the periphery of the nuclear radiation zone. Although our current location won't make you feel chest tightness and headache, staying here for a long time will definitely cause your body's cells to be affected by the nuclear radiation. Su Yun's preaching seemed to be completely meaningless because Poison Cherry was well aware of how terrifying nuclear radiation was. She had also personally witnessed the tragic deaths of people. Your boss really doesn't know how to be considerate, letting you live in such a terrible environment. That's very disloyal of him. Lin Guo added fuel to the fire. At that moment, there was finally some movement. The roar of countless engines came from the direction Su Yun's group came from. They were quickly surrounded by countless cars and motorcycles. In front of them was the edge of the radiation zone, so they couldn't get close. Behind them was an unknown number of people. Black Crow appeared in the middle of this group of people. The driver of the SUV and Poison Cherry quickly stood on Black Crow's side. Su Yun's group was quickly isolated in this godforsaken place. Black Crow. Su Yun knew that something had happened. The situation was definitely out of their control. I didn't expect you to have so many brothers. Not all of them are my men. Some of them are from my friends' clubs and organizations. They lent me their men. Black Crow said. Su Yun was still trying to control the situation. I didn't expect you to arrange your headquarters in such a dangerous place. No wonder you've always been so safe and stable. No one would be stupid enough to come to a place like this to cause trouble for you. Black Crow smiled evilly. Boss Su, you seem to be scolding yourself. Aren't you stupid enough to come to a place like this to cause trouble for me? Don't say that, Su Yun said. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to do business with you. There seems to be something wrong with our current atmosphere. Wen Xiao hugged the wooden box tightly. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. There were hundreds of people on the other side, and they all had weapons in their hands. Although these small fries were not worth mentioning, there were at least 70 to 80 people with guns in their hands. No matter how powerful an expert was, it was impossible to get rid of so many people armed with guns in such a short time. In such a space, the three of them felt like they couldn't escape even if they had wings. Boss Su, your intuition is very accurate. I also believe that your intuition is correct. Black Crow said, but this situation and atmosphere isn't caused by my carelessness. It's because of you, because of your carelessness, Director Su. What happened to us? Su Yun was stunned. The item is in our hands. We just want to complete the transaction as soon as possible. Does this count as our fault? Black Crow laughed. You know very well the relationship between Yi Wanyang and me. We are friends and very close business partners. If you were sent by him, why don't you even know the most basic rules between us? These words had directly broken the trust between them. Lin Guo and Wen Xiao both became nervous. The sparks between the two sides might explode in an instant. Su Yun also came to a realization. Yi Wanyang, this bastard, was not trying to use his last chance to do a good deed. Instead, he wanted to use his last chance to destroy him and Wen Xiao. Only then could he, who had already entered a dead end, die in peace. The Golden Buddha head is here. You have personally inspected the goods. Wen Xiao said, if we didn't come here to make a deal, we wouldn't have brought it here. Black Crow, are you trying to use your own reputation as a wager? Black Crow shook his head. The item is in my hands. You are also in my hands. I can complete the transaction and get the rest of the money that should have belonged to Boss E. If I can still contact Boss E after this, and I can still hear him explain how he saved your lives, I will naturally let you go. That's impossible. The item can only be traded in my hands. This is also Boss Yi's order. Wen Xiao said. The atmosphere between the two sides quickly heated up. Su Yun was well aware of their current situation. This damned place was not Black Crow's territory at all. Black Crow had only found an area that naturally cut off their escape route. No one would be able to walk into such a serious radiation zone and come out alive. So if they wanted to leave, they had to fight their way out. There were hundreds of people in front of them and dozens of guns. How could they fight their way out? The three of them were unprepared. The only one with a weapon was Wen Xiao. That huge wooden box that weighed more than 100 pounds should be quite a deterrent. But Wen Xiao probably wouldn't bear to use it as a weapon. Even if he was willing to, that thing was not enough for them to fight their way out. Su Yun and Wen Zhao's mistake was that they trusted the other party too much. Everything that the other party arranged, they did not have any doubts and complied with the other party's request. That was why today's situation was like this. Otherwise, they would not have fallen into such a desperate situation. Stop talking about Boss E. If something happens to you because of the unfavorable situation today, it's not my fault. It's his fault. Black Crow said, or it's your own fault. I won't trust people who don't follow the rules. Su Yun raised his hand to signal Black Crow to calm down. Okay, in that case, I'll tell you the truth. The Boss E you trust does not want to cooperate with you sincerely this time. So, even if there's a problem, it's between you two. Don't use us as sacrificial lambs. A problem between us? Boss E doesn't want to cooperate with us sincerely? Black Crow was stunned. He really did not understand what reason this was. That's right. Boss E doesn't want our deal to succeed. It's not his reputation that will be damaged, but yours. Su Yun, if you want to know the details, let's go somewhere else. I'll tell you in detail. I don't want to stay in this damned place for another minute. Black Crow sneered, I won't go somewhere else to talk to you. Because if we don't come to an agreement, the highly radioactive area ahead will become your grave. You'll sleep on Dongying soil forever. Don't joke around. Even if you really want us to die here, you won't have it easy yourself. Lin Gu glared at Black Crow with the same cold gaze. I swear, even if we die, I'll make sure you die with us. Black Crow laughed heartily. Not bad, looks like I'm in trouble. I thought you only had 2 experts, but it seems like this little brother is also an expert? Otherwise, how can you be so confident? You'll find out sooner or later whether I am or not. Sometimes, Lin Ji's words were quite blunt. Black Crow, don't overestimate your strength. I won't overestimate myself, Black Crow said, but you seem to have overestimated your current situation, right? Chapter 2016. Without waiting for Lin Gu to continue, Su Yun stopped him from continuing to argue. Pigeon, now is not the time to bicker, don't talk so much. If it weren't for Su Yun's words, Lin Gu wouldn't have let Heya off so easily. He gritted his teeth and glared at Heya again. This guy was really sinister. Even now, he still couldn't figure out how they had broken their rules, and made him suspicious. Although Wen Xiao wasn't in a good mood, he had another thought in his mind. Was the other party testing them again? But it didn't seem like it. If they were testing them, they didn't need to come to this damn nuclear radiation zone, right? Okay, I'll tell you all of Boss Yi's plans now. Su Yun knew he needed to make a new plan. This boot ahead, after we trade, we're going to take it back. Of course, this is Boss Yi's idea. Black Crow frowned immediately. What do you mean? Boss Yi wants you to take it back after the trade? Whether it's true or not, I'm afraid it won't hurt my reputation. Yes. If we just take it back, it won't hurt. Su Yun, but the problem is, Boss Yi wants us to make all the evidence point to you as if you arranged for someone to do it. This way, the buyer won't suspect us. Impossible. Black Crow immediately denied it. From his mood, Su Yun was 100% sure that he was emotionally affected. Su Yun continued, if you say we didn't follow the rules here, I believe that we definitely didn't follow the rules. otherwise you wouldn't suspect us. But now I can't help but suspect that Bossy put too much effort into instructing us on other things, so he left out some details and didn't tell us what to do." Black Crow's eyebrows were already knitted together. "What do you mean?" "I've already said it so clearly, you still don't understand? I said Wan Yang only cared about instructing us on how to scheme against you, so he forgot some of the rules." Su Yun's emotions were running high. After that, he quickly calmed himself down. "I'm already cornered, do you think I'll lie?" Black Crow was dumbfounded. That's right. Would a person in a desperate situation lie? Probably not. Looking at Su Yun's serious expression, Black Crow's stance wavered. "What the hell is going on?" "Black Crow, you've seen this thing. The golden Buddha head, something of great significance. It has such a high value. Do you think Wan Yang is willing to let it go? This is probably the most valuable item he has come across since he started working on relics." Su Yun continued, "Anyone can be greedy." Black Crow said coldly, "Is Wan Yang planning to sell the Buddha's head a second time after taking it back? If he does do that, I won't be a second for him. He won't be so stupid to think that I'll be fooled by him." "Of course he won't sell it to you," Su Yun said. "If he sells it to you, it'll be the same as admitting that he framed you. He even contacted a buyer in Europe, and the other party is offering 300 million. Who do you think would not earn that much money?" Black Crow's heart was completely shaken. That's right, if you put yourself in his shoes, he would be shaken too. According to Black Crow's understanding of Wan Yang was indeed a ruthless person who would do such a thing, so he couldn't help but be suspicious. Of course he'll earn the other 300 million. And the other 300 million isn't his final choice. He's already contacted a buyer in the United States to negotiate the price. Su Yun said, "You're the one who's being kept in the dark. How many times does he want to sell a Buddha head?" Black Crow's eyes were bloodshot. "Let me tell you, even if the Buddha head is in the United States, he'll make the same arrangement. He wants us to think of a way to get it back after the deal." Su Yun said, "In the end, he'll still find you with the Buddha head and tell you that he bought it from the United States. He wants you to continue being a middleman to find a buyer in Japan, and you're just a tool for him to use. Everyone is." There were plenty of stories of a woman marrying multiple men in this world. But this was the first time Black Crow had heard of someone being as ruthless as Wan Yang. If Wan Yang really wanted to do that, then he would definitely cut all ties with him. There would be no more cooperation or interaction between them. No matter what industry they were in, no matter how ruthless or vicious a person was, when it came to transactions with partners, they should be sincere. If they didn't even have the most basic credibility, what was the point of talking about? "Why are you saying this? He's your partner." Although Black Crow's trust was shaken, he couldn't trust Su Yun in a short period of time. "Why should I?" Su Yun pointed to the nuclear radiation zone behind them. "I'm doing this for myself so that I won't die in a place like that. Black Crow, I've said everything I need to say. In a situation where a person wants to save his life, do you think he'll lie? No way, right?" Black Crow fell into deep thought. He couldn't trust Su Yun, and he couldn't continue to trust Wan Yang. "If you want to make a move, then we won't just sit there and wait to be captured. Even if you have so many subordinates, if the three of us want to take your life at the same time, I believe there's still a chance." Su Yun said, "The best result isn't for both sides to suffer, but to seek cooperation again. What do you think?" Black Crow's eyes widened. Su Yun wasn't joking with him just now. People on their deathbed were capable of doing anything. "Also, let me tell you, Black Crow, if you want to mess around, you won't be able to get the Buddha head." Wen Shao said, "I'll throw it into the nuclear radiation zone. When that happens, I'm afraid no one will be able to get the Buddha head out alive. It won't benefit any of us." This threat was quite accurate. The negotiation and threat were made clear to Black Crow at the same time. Black Crow wasn't a fool. He naturally understood what the best choice was. Although giving the three of them a way out now might not be the right choice, not giving them a way out was definitely not the right choice. Cooperate again. Hee hee. Black Crow smiled. Sure, but before that, you can't do anything to ruin my reputation. If you want to cooperate again, sure, but you have to trade the Buddha head first. We'll talk again. Su Yun's reaction was very quick. Sure, of course. We can trade immediately, as long as you contact the buyer. This thing is so hot, we've long wanted to throw it away. Okay. If the item can be successfully traded, we can still talk, Black Crow said. But I'm warning you, although you're experts, with my ability in Japan, I can still make sure that you won't be able to walk out of here alive. Yeah, you can easily summon so many people to the nuclear radiation zone to stand guard for you. Of course you're awesome, Su Yun said. Poison Sakura, I'll leave the rest to you. I'll contact the buyer as soon as possible, Black Crow said as he disappeared into the hundreds of people. With Black Crow gone, Su Yun and the rest couldn't do anything. They had to continue doing what they wanted because if they didn't, they definitely wouldn't be able to find Black Crow. Black Crow was a person who could hide. If he sensed danger, Su Yun and the rest would completely fail their mission. They had to find Black Crow's nest and catch them all in one fell swoop. No matter how difficult it was, Su Yun and the rest couldn't back down. Chapter 2017. The threat of the radiation zone was temporarily gone, but now was not the time for Su Yun to breathe a sigh of relief. At this time, Black Crow was seriously on guard against them. If they did anything that made Black Crow feel threatened, Black Crow would turn against them. Fortunately, Wen Zhao's threat was effective. With the golden Buddha head, Black Crow did not dare to act rashly. However, it was only a verbal threat. If Black Crow really did make a move, Wen Zhao would not dare to throw the golden Buddha head into the radiation zone. I'm sorry. The three of you have disappointed our boss. Venomous Cherry said indifferently, if you still want to cooperate with us and regain our trust, then listen to my arrangements. We'll follow your instructions. Su Yun nodded. Before he had the chance to catch all of Black Crow in one fell swoop, he could only cooperate with Poison Cherry. A smile appeared on Poison Cherry's face again. If the three of you had cooperated from the beginning, we would not have come to this. Please get in the car. I don't want to stay in this radiation zone for long. I believe the three of you do not want to continue our conversation in this place. No matter where they were going, they had to get in the car and leave this damned place first. Su Yun led the way into the car. Wan Xiao reluctantly got into the car and muttered, if we hadn't come to this, we wouldn't have told Black Crow so many things. How long will this radiation affect me? Lin Guo felt uncomfortable all over after getting in the car. It was as if there were many small hands scratching at his heart. It was normal for him to feel uneasy. Su Yun patted Lin Guo on the shoulder. This won't affect you for a while, but if we really stay in this damned place for more than 10 hours, I can't guarantee that nothing will happen. Lin Guo felt goosebumps all over his body. Then we really have to leave this damned place as soon as possible. It's too scary. Don't worry. This is not the first time I've been here. Poison Cherry was the last to get in the car, but I'm still fine. As long as we leave in time, everything will be fine. Lin Guo rolled his eyes and whispered, maybe one day you'll be diagnosed with cancer. At that time, you won't feel that there's no problem. Although Poison Cherry heard it, she didn't have much of a reaction. She only said gently, I think partners should have more blessings instead of slandering and cursing each other. Don't you think it's unkind of you to bring your partner to this damned place? Wen Xiao ignored her. Don't talk about those principles. We're already giving you face by not pointing at your nose and scolding you. You don't even allow us to curse you in private? Aren't you meddling too much? In the face of Wen Xiao's direct provocation, Poison Cherry still did not get angry. Wen Xiao can also be sure that this woman is not a simple character, so he deliberately provoked her with words. Sure enough, he can be so calm after such a direct verbal attack. Can she be an ordinary character? Alright, everyone has a point. But now that the misunderstanding has been cleared, there's no need to be awkward. Su Yun said, our cooperation still needs to continue. Take a step back and everything will be fine. If your subordinates can think like you, then our cooperation will be smoother, Mr. Su. Poison Cherry showed her appreciation for Su Yun. I think men should be like Mr. Su and be magnanimous. Don't keep such trivial matters in your heart. Lin Gu waved his hand. Alright, you can say whatever you want and do whatever you want. I won't lower myself to your level, but you better know your limits. Otherwise, even if Mr. Su doesn't lower himself to your level, I will never let you go. With so many bodyguards, what can a weak woman like me do? Poison Cherry smiled and did not say anything else. After the car driver left the radiation zone, he turned back and asked Poison Cherry, "Are we going back?" "Of course. That's the safest place to live." Poison Cherry nodded and told Su Yun, "We're still going to the same place. This time, we won't let the three of you stay for too long. Be ready to make a deal." Su Yun frowned. "Going back? You're not going to find us girls after we go back, are you?" Lin Gu was stunned. Wen Xiao also realized this. "You said we broke the rules because we didn't touch the women you sent to our door?" "You can say that," Poison Cherry said. "Since you don't know the rules, I can't tell you in detail. If you can go back safely, ask your boss E. I think he will give you an explanation." "You're so boring. Yes means yes, no means no." "What do you mean by you can say that?" Lin Gu said, "If your rules are like this, then I don't believe everyone will follow them. Are you all so unprincipled? Aren't you afraid of getting infected?" Poison Cherry just smiled and did not answer any of Lin Ji's questions. "What do you mean by that smile?" Lin Gu frowned. "I really think that cooperating with you guys is a very tiring thing. Don't make us look like outsiders. If there's anything between us, we can just talk it out. That way, there won't be so many misunderstandings." "We didn't cause any misunderstandings. You caused all the misunderstandings," Poison Cherry said calmly, "but from now on, there won't be any misunderstandings between us. Until you complete the deal, our boss will believe you again." Wen Xiao was actually very worried about this problem. Completing the deal meant that they would have to give the item to a Japanese. Would the item come back if that happened? Wen Xiao took a deep breath. He was a little afraid of taking such a risk. After all, it was a national treasure. He was really afraid that something would go wrong. But now, if they did not use the national treasure as bait, it would be a problem to see Black Crow again. They had no other choice. "No problem. Once the deal is over, we have to give Black Crow an explanation." Su Yun said, "If we can't make Mr. Black Crow completely trust us, I'm afraid we won't even have the chance to return to the open sea." "Mr. Su is really too humble," Poison Cherry said. Poison Cherry said, "But if our boss doesn't trust the three of you, he won't let you leave." "Can I take this as a threat?" Su Yun grinned. Poison Cherry shook his head. "Just take it as a warning from me as a friend. Mr. Su is a smart person. I like to make friends with people like Mr. Su. I'm sincere." Su Yun smiled. "Then I'm really flattered." "You said that on purpose for us to hear," Lin Gu said. "You only like to make friends with people who cooperate with you, right?" These words were really harsh to the ears. Our CEO Su is a magnanimous person who doesn't bear grudges against petty people. It's indeed worth learning. Since Mr. Lin knows Mr. Su's strengths, you should learn from him, Poison Cherry said. Otherwise, how can you be successful? Wen Xiao frowned. Let's not talk about this meaningless war of words. Let's talk about when we can close the deal. I'm running out of patience. After this cooperation, I'll take my share of the money and won't participate in anything else. I won't go back to Huaxia with you. What do you mean? Wen Xiao, you're saying that you're staying in Dongying? Su Yun was surprised. Of course. The deal didn't go according to plan. There's no need for me to go back and continue working with Mr. E, Wen Xiao said. The entire Huaxia is looking for me. I'm afraid I won't have a good ending if I go back. I'll stay in Dongying. It's pretty good. I'll get the tens of millions that belong to me. It's enough for me to live a carefree life in Dongying for a while. Lin Gu glared. Wen Xiao, everything has a beginning and an end, right? What are you doing? Aren't you being too unkind? I'm being unkind? Wen Xiao sneered. No matter what I do, it's not up to you to educate me. You have no right to speak here. You'd better remember that I'm on the same level as your boss. Su Yun was slightly stunned. All right, Wen Xiao. I respect your choice, but you have to ensure that the deal is completed smoothly. Of course. I still have money that belongs to me. Wen Xiao nodded. Chapter 2018. The infighting had happened too suddenly. Even Poison Cherry, who had always been calm in the face of anything, was very surprised by it. Okay, what belongs to you is yours. But before the deal is done, you'd better be clear about your identity. Su Yun said, You are our employer. Before we complete the task we hired you to do, you must respect all the arrangements I make. Of course, you are the leader. You have the final say. But what I want to say is that I can sell my life for this thing once. But there will never be a second time. Wen Xiao said, I don't want to become a chess piece that you can play with. Su Yun's face also darkened. Of course I wouldn't joke around with my life. This trick was Yi Wanyong's idea, and it was also agreed upon by you. Now that there's a problem, do you think it's good for you to push the blame to yourself? Anyway, let's talk about it openly today. Wen Xiao said, You are the one in charge of the deal, and I am the one in charge of protecting the thing. I will protect the thing until the deal is done. Then my job is done, right? You really know how to save yourself a lot of trouble. Lin Gu sneered. If we can't leave safely, your job won't be done. I'll emphasize this one last time. You have no right to speak here. Wen Xiao didn't even look at Lin Gu. He continued to talk to Su Yun. So, I don't care if you will play any tricks in the future. But before that, I hope you won't do anything that will implicate me. Su Yun also said coldly, I have never thought of doing anything else. I only hope that the deal will go smoothly. Wen Xiao, before the deal, any mistakes that happen will be your responsibility. You better not cause trouble. I'm not that stupid. I know what I need to do now. I don't need Chairman Su to remind me. Wen Xiao said disdainfully. The quarrel between the three of them started without any warning over such a small matter. Although Venomous Cherry was surprised, she was able to pick up some clues from the three's conversation. It seemed that this group was not as harmonious as it seemed on the surface. They did not care about each other's interests. They were all doing things for their own benefit. It was only because they were forced to run into each other that they had no choice but to act together. After encountering the threat of nuclear radiation today, cracks finally appeared in the team that had been pretending to be harmonious, and they began to complain to each other. Venomous Cherry's mind spun rapidly about the relationship between the three of them. Soon, she had her own opinion on the relationship between the three of them. She felt that this wasn't a good thing for the other party, but it was a good thing for them. Just now, Wen Xiao had clearly stated that he did not want to return to Huaxia after completing this transaction. This was also a breakthrough point. Perhaps the boss preferred dealing with such people. After all, the Buddha's head was now in Wen Xiao's hands. If he could deal with Wen Xiao without any tricks, then no matter how capable the other two were, they wouldn't be able to do anything. That's right, this was a breakthrough. Poison Cherry had an idea in her mind. Soon, they were sent to the Hot Spring Hotel again. When they got off the car, Su Yun and Wen Xiao looked extremely discordant. The three of you, I won't be arranging anything for you today. Have a good rest. We may have to carry out the transaction at any time. Venomous Cherry said, I won't disturb you. You better get Black Crow to arrange it quickly. I don't want to wait any longer. Wen Xiao said grumpily. I also don't want to continue working with a selfish person who only cares about his own interests. Su Yun, I'll have to trouble you to urge your boss. It's best if the transaction can be completed today. Venomous Cherry smiled slightly. I don't have the final say in these matters, but I will help you pass on the message to my boss. I hope you have a good time here. I will arrange for lunch and dinner to be sent to your rooms. I'll take my leave first." After Venomous Cherry rearranged their rooms and left, the three of them finally breathed a sigh of relief. There was no director or rehearsal for the scene just now. It was just a few glances and a tacit understanding. Then, they acted out such a good show on the spot. Although Venomous Cherry was gone, the three of them still had to maintain a hostile attitude. Who knew if someone was secretly watching them? "I think it's impossible to carry out the transaction today. Black Crow will definitely continue to wear down our patience," Su-Yun said in a low voice. "Let's make our preparations. Nothing will happen today, so let's all have a good rest." Got it. Brother, you have a good rest too," Lin Guo also said in a low voice, "but your acting just now was too realistic. I was scared by you guys." Wen Xiao grinned. "No matter what, the show is enough. That woman should have believed it. When we were quarreling, she was listening very carefully. She believed it. Our goal has been achieved. Su-Yun, since Black Crow let this woman take care of us, it means that he has 100% trust in her. As long as she believes it, it means that Black Crow believes it." Lin Gu sighed. "It's a pity that the three of us don't go to Hollywood. Aren't you guys developing Hollywood?" Wen Xiao relaxed a lot. As expected of people in the film and television industry. "Okay, stop joking. Su-Yun, Wen Xiao, once Black Crow believes that there is a crack in our relationship and feelings, I think he will definitely find you and try to form an alliance with you. At that time, you just need to emphasize to him that you don't plan to go back to Huaxia. This way, he will trust you more." Wan Xiao nodded. "Understood. Leave the rest to me. Let's part ways early, in case someone really arranged to spy on us becomes suspicious," Su-Yun said. As soon as Su-Yun finished speaking, Lin Gu pointed at Wen Xiao's nose and said to Su-Yun, "Mr. Su, what is there to discuss with this kind of person? If you talk to him calmly, it will only make him think that he is so great. Mr. Su, I suggest that you change to a dog when you go out in the future. This kind of dog that only bites people will really give people a headache." Wen Xiao was also quite disapproving. "If I were you, I would definitely make him shut up." Su-Yun's face was gloomy and he said coldly, "I think both of you should shut up." After saying that, he walked to the door of Su-Yun's room. Su-Yun opened the door and entered the room, completely ignoring the two of them. The door slammed shut, giving the two people outside a very serious warning. "Your master is not in the mood to bite with you, so you should shut up." Wen Xiao threw down a sentence and turned to go to his room. Lin Gu raised his middle finger at Wen Xiao's back. "Don't always think that you are high and mighty. You are just a dog that wags its tail for a bone." After saying that, he turned and went to his room. The three people's rooms were still not arranged together. This seemed to be deliberately done by Poison Cherry. It seemed to be to give the three of them a relatively quiet environment to rest in, but in fact, it seemed that there was another plan. As the two doors slammed shut, the three people were completely isolated. This was the scene that the other party wanted to see. Black Crow would be very satisfied with such a situation. Since Black Crow wanted to see such a scene, then Su-Yun gave it to him. This was the work that director Su-Yun had produced in a short period of time. The most important thing was that the actors were professional enough. As long as Su-Yun gave them a hint with his eyes, they would be able to quickly cooperate with him to make this falling out scene so vivid. Su-Yun returned to his room and had nothing to do. He could only soak in the hot spring. Thinking of the police brothers who were still waiting for them at sea, he really felt a little embarrassed to enjoy this place comfortably. He did not know when, but Su-Yun actually found that his previous hatred for the police had disappeared. Perhaps all of this was because of Qin Wan. Love the house, love the crow. This was probably the only explanation. Indeed, if Su-Yun did not know such a responsible police officer like Qin Wan, it would really be very difficult for him to change the impact of the stimulation in his heart. But now he let go of everything. Chapter 2019. After Poison Cherry separated from the three of them, she immediately contacted Black Crow and said that she had something important to discuss with him immediately. Black Crow asked her to come as soon as possible. After seeing Black Crow, Poison Cherry told Black Crow everything that had happened just now. Black Crow was surprised when he heard that. "Are you sure they're not acting with you?" "I'm sure." Poison Cherry nodded. "I didn't leave the three of them for even a minute. The three of them wouldn't have had the time to discuss how to put on such a show. Moreover, I can feel that when Xiao really wants to stay in Japan, there's a reason why he doesn't want to return to Huaxia." Black Crow frowned. What she said made sense. If he were Wan Xiao, he would definitely not want to return to Huaxia. He was wanted nationwide. Going back was no different from courting death. Black Crow knew very well what it felt like to be wanted nationwide. Back then, he had reacted quickly and was able to escape earlier. If Black Crow had not escaped earlier, he really doubted that he would have achieved what he had today. Therefore, Black Crow also felt that when Xiao being able to come out to Japan this time was indeed an opportunity. Why should he return to Huaxia and take the risk? Those were all completely unnecessary things. "Boss, I can't be 100% sure what the other two are thinking, but Wan Xiao is indeed a breakthrough point." Poison Cherry said, "If we can use his desire to stay in Japan to win him over to our side, then we won't have to worry about him playing tricks." Black Crow nodded. That made sense. Since Wan Xiao wanted to stay, he would give Wan Xiao a chance to stay. Once Wan Xiao felt that there was a chance, he might really give him a chance to cooperate. "They've all returned to the Hot Spring Hotel?" Black Crow asked. "Yes, they've all gone back. I've already arranged for the three of them to wait for our news." Poison Cherry said, "I'm afraid they're not in the mood to do anything now. I think it's good for us to suppress their patience." "That's right. A person's patience needs to be worn down, bit by bit." Black Crow said, "No matter how impatient a person is, there will be a day when their patience is worn down. I'll meet Wan Xiao tonight. If he's willing to cooperate with us, that's naturally the best. If he's not willing, we can't let him leave so easily. None of them will be able to leave Japan easily." Poison Ing nodded. She knew what her boss meant. "If Yi Wanyang really wants to play tricks with me, then I'll ask him to come to Japan personally and ask me for her. Otherwise, don't even think about taking him away." Black Crow gritted his teeth and said, "If these three people are playing tricks, I'll chop them up and feed them to the fish." "Boss, don't worry. They won't be able to escape from us," Poison Cherry said. Black Crow waved his hand. "All right, you can leave first. Keep a close eye on the three of them." "Yes, boss." After reporting the situation, Poison Cherry quickly left. She knew that her boss had his own plans. She only needed to do what she was supposed to do. Would the three of them behave themselves? She didn't dare to let down her guard easily. Now was not the time for them to let down their guard. However, Su Yun, who was prepared to fight a protracted battle, wouldn't change his tactics easily. He believed that as long as he was patient, the one who couldn't sit still in the end would definitely be Black Crow. Now, he had to fight with inaction. Whoever couldn't sit still first would lose. Black Raven had used 10 whole hours to wear down their patience. Why couldn't they give him a taste of his own medicine? When Su Yun and the others didn't react after staying in the Hot Spring Hotel for so long, the one who couldn't sit still was Black Crow. After returning to the Hot Spring Hotel, Poison Cherry kept an eye on them from noon until night. Other than arranging for the 3 rooms to be delivered and opening the door twice, no one showed any signs of coming out. Phew, it seemed that the 3 of them were completely tamed. Poison Cherry's face finally relaxed. It seemed that this transaction could be carried out safely. When it was 11 o'clock at night, Black Crow's car finally appeared near the Hot Spring Hotel. Poison Cherry immediately went forward to ask for instructions. "Go and invite Wan Xiao out. Tell him that he won't be disappointed when he sees me." Black Crow said, "Go. Remember not to disturb the other 2. Poison Cherry nodded. The 3 rooms she arranged were a certain distance away from each other. Of course, She wouldn't disturb the other two. At this time, the people of Beijing Hot Film were shooting a new hot spring-themed romantic action movie. The whole hot spring hotel was filled with screams and screams. The people who were sleeping had already put on earplugs. When she arrived at Wen Zhao's door, Poison Cherry didn't knock. Instead, she directly opened the door with the room card. Wen Zhao's vigilance was quite high. After all, he had to protect the Buddha's head. He reacted immediately. If he didn't see Poison Cherry's face clearly, he would have killed her. He thought that Black Crow had changed his mind and arranged someone to snatch the Buddha's head at night. There's no need for such a big reaction. I didn't do anything. I just didn't want to disturb the other two by knocking on the door. Venomous Cherry asked cautiously as she was restrained by Wen Zhao. She had finally witnessed Wen Zhao's skills. Indeed, he wasn't simple. Wen Zhao knew that what should come had come. Everything would develop according to Su Yun's plan. What do you mean by this? It's already so late. Come to my room. Wen Zhao closed the door as he spoke. Are you the one who came to serve me today? Fine. If it's you, then I really want to have a taste. After saying that, Wen Zhao directly threw Poison Cherry onto his bed. This woman was so scheming. He really wanted to take this opportunity to teach her a lesson. Wen Zhao threw himself on top of Poison Cherry and tore off the buttons in front of her chest. Wen Zhao, if you really want to have a taste of me, you will definitely have the chance. Poison Cherry didn't panic because of Wen Zhao's actions. But now is not the time. My boss is waiting for you outside. He has something very important to tell you. Wen Zhao stopped. You mean, Black Crow is waiting for me outside? Waiting for me alone? If he's here, he should be talking to CEO Su, right? It's you. Poison Cherry said, the goods are in your hands. Why would my boss talk to someone who doesn't have the goods? Wen Zhao, trust me. My boss doesn't mean any harm. He wants to talk to you. He wants to be friends with you. Be friends with me? Ha ha ha. Wen Zhao said, there's no need. He will regret being friends with me. I'm not a suitable person to be friends with. Poison Cherry said, whether it's suitable or not isn't up to you and me. If you talk, you might really become friends. Wen Zhao was silent for a moment. Then why didn't he come in himself? The walls have ears. Poison Cherry said, besides, do you think this environment is suitable for talking? The passion on the set has just started. Humph. Wen Zhao said, I want passion too, but you won't give me the chance. If your talk with my boss is successful, I'll let you know my taste after it's done. When Poison Cherry said this, she didn't even tidy up her clothes. Wen Zhao lowered his head and saw a white patch and 2 pink spots. Wen Zhao stood up quickly. Okay, then I'll trust your boss this time. Where is he? What does he want to talk to me about? Poison Cherry sat up and tidied her clothes unhurriedly. My boss is waiting for you outside. You can talk about it in detail when you meet. I don't know what he wants to talk to you about. As long as it's something that benefits me, we can talk about anything. If it doesn't benefit me, then don't blame me for not giving your boss face. Wen Zhao said, I'm such a person. I'll never give face to someone just because they're my boss. Poison Cherry smiled. I like men like you. Manly enough. You haven't seen me manly enough yet. Wen Zhao laughed evilly. Lead the way. Let me know what your boss wants to do. Chapter 2020. Following Poison Cherry's lead, Wen Zhao quickly made his way to a car located 1 kilometer away from the Hot Spring Hotel. Seeing Wen Zhao appear, the car door opened and He stepped out. He extended his right hand toward Wen Zhao in a friendly manner. However, Wen Zhao did not give He any face. Instead, he pointed at the wooden box in his right hand, indicating that he wanted to shake He's hand. Don't mind it. He shook his head. Of course not. I know very well why you are so cautious and careful. If it were me, I would also do my best to be cautious and careful. Since you can understand, let's make it short. Why do you want to meet me alone? Wen Xiao asked. Heya smiled. Straight to the point. I like it. Then, let's talk inside the car. Forget it. Let's do it here, Wen Xiao said. It is quite cool here. It will be stuffy inside the car. Besides, once I get in the car and you take me somewhere, I won't even have the chance to run away. Don't you agree? He. Heya let out a wry smile. Wen Xiao, you sure know how to joke. Heya, am not that kind of person. If I wanted the Buddha head in your hand, I would not have waited until now to make my move. I am a man of honor. If I don't even have this bit of honor, I will have no place in this world. Wen Xiao nodded his head. But I still prefer to talk about it outside. Can't I? Of course you can. Heya chose to compromise. Wen Xiao, if a person does not care about honor with me, do you think I need to care about honor with him? Before this transaction is completed, Yi Wenyang will always be honorable with you. Wen Xiao did not need Heya to explain. He knew what Heya wanted to say. If you make a move before this transaction is completed, that means you are not honorable. It has nothing to do with his honor. Heya gave him a thumbs up. I like dealing with smart people. I also know that if I make a move now, it means I am not honorable. That is why I will not do anything. Wen Xiao raised his eyebrows. So you're saying that you're really going to make a move after the deal is done? I don't know about that, but I can't just stand by and watch you, or the two of them, or someone else steal or snatch the Buddha's head away from the buyer right under my nose, Black Crow said. I am not Lei Feng, but I will still protect my big client. Wen Xiao nodded. Then you're quite particular. Since you want to do this, then after the deal, it has nothing to do with me. If I can't bring the Buddha's head back to Huaxia, what's the point of me going back? It doesn't feel good to be wanted all over the country. Black Crow smiled. Of course not. Wen Xiao said, so if I can't get another chance to earn tens of millions, I can't go back to Huaxia. Do you plan to stay in Japan? Black Crow asked. Wen Xiao nodded. Why not? After getting the money I should get, there's no need for cooperation anymore. I don't need their approval to go or stay. Why must I go back to Huaxia with them? It's good to play in Japan for a while. Black Crow agreed with Wen Xiao's idea. Yes, there's no need to continue on the same path as them. But, how do you plan to survive in Japan? Anything can be done with money, Wen Xiao said. I can spend money to get someone to get me a valid identity. I still have money to buy a sports car. I can go to Tokyo and drift. My driving skills are pretty good. I think I can make a living by gambling on cars. Black Crow smiled. Brother Wen Xiao, you're too naive. Do you think drifting has no risks? If you really win too much money, those racers with organized forces behind them won't let you go. You won't have a good life in Tokyo. Then I'll just win a few times and leave, Wen Xiao said. Japan is quite big. I can play around for a while. Then aren't you still living a life of hiding? It does look different. It's quite free. But it's not carefree enough, Black Crow said. Like me? I can go anywhere in Japan. Be it car gambling or money gambling, no matter how much I win, no one will do anything to me. If anyone wants to give me a hard time, the organization behind me might not be weaker than them. In Japan, I, Black Crow, am a person with status. When Wen Xiao heard this, he laughed disdainfully. Are you showing off to me? Or do you want to ask how many years I spent in Japan to reach your level? Without waiting for Black Crow to speak, Wen Xiao waved his hand. If that's your goal, then you've achieved it. You're indeed better than me. You have status. Is that okay? Brother, that's not what I meant. Black Crow grinned. I just want to tell you that you can have everything now. You can have status now. Since you want to stay in Japan, why must you choose to work hard on your own? You can work with me. We can be brothers. You can have everything I have. Ha, that's a good suggestion. Wan Shao nodded and smiled, but his expression quickly changed. But I've never thought that there would be such a good thing as a free lunch. If there were really so many free lunches, I wouldn't have fallen to this state a long time ago. Black Crow remained calm. It was a good thing that Wan Shao was wary. At least it meant that he didn't have any other motives. Wan Shao remembered Su Yun's words very clearly. He only needed to let Black Crow know that he wanted to stay in Japan. Everything else was not important. Only then could Black Crow trust him more. I want to stay in Japan because I don't want to return to Huaxia and cause trouble, Wan Shao emphasized. But it doesn't mean that I, Wan Shao, can't survive in Japan without relying on anyone. I don't care about what you said. I'm used to being alone. Okay, I won't force you. Black Crow nodded. All the transactions will be over tomorrow. After that, we'll have a chance to talk. When the transaction is over, Yi Wanyang's attempt to be dishonest with me will become a fact. When that time comes, I'm afraid it won't go against my reputation. Wait a minute. Wan Shao looked at Black Crow and said, "From what you're saying, after the transaction tomorrow, you're going to make a move?" Black Crow said, "I won't hurt anyone, but I won't let your plan succeed. After the transaction, I'll control you and contact Yi Wanyang. Unless he comes personally to explain everything, I won't let you leave Japan. If you want to control them, then control them. This has nothing to do with me." Wan Shao said, "I'm only working with them once. I'm not one of them." "How can I prove it?" Black Crow smiled. There was a hidden meaning behind his smile. Wan Shao came to a realization and nodded. "I understand. You're forcing me to join you." Black Crow, to be honest, I just want to stay in Japan. I don't want to participate in these complicated businesses. No problem. I support you. Joining me doesn't mean that you have to work for me. Black Crow said, "I just hope that if you stay in Japan, I'll have another trustworthy friend, a brother worth befriending." Wan Shao replied with an "oh," and looked at Heya with a confused expression. "The reason is very simple. It's because we're all Huaxia people. So we have to help each other." Black Crow said, "We're all Huaxia people, that's all." Wan Shao cursed in his heart. "You still know that you're a Huaxia person? You know that you're a Huaxia person, yet you still want to bring the historical relics that belong to Huaxia people to Japan. Isn't this degrading yourself? Why don't you touch your conscience and ask yourself if you're worthy of being a Huaxia person?" "Alright, just based on what you said, let's consider it as making friends." Wan Shao said, "After the transaction, you can do whatever you want to them. I won't interfere, but if you want to control me, I definitely won't cooperate." Black Crow smiled. "That's what I've been waiting for." In Black Crow's mind, Wan Shao was the most powerful person among the three of them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept the golden Buddha head with him. After the transaction was over, as long as Wan Shao didn't interfere in this matter, the other two people wouldn't be a match for so many of them. Besides, he was already friends with Wan Shao. When the time came, would Wan Shao not help him? He might even help him. After all, the three of them had already fallen out. Chapter 2021. Wan Shao shrugged. "Since we've reached an agreement, does that mean we can end today's conversation happily?" "Oh, of course, very happily." Black Crow nodded. "But I have a small request. I don't know if you can agree to it. That depends on whether your request is too much." Wan Shao said, "If your request is beyond what I can accept, then I'm sorry. I might not be able to accept it. But you can still tell me. Maybe your request won't be beyond what I can accept." Black Crow smiled. "I like to deal with straightforward people like you. Can you tell me how you plan to get the golden Buddha head back after the deal is successful? I'm afraid I don't know how to explain it to you." Wan Shao shook his head. "At least before the deal, I still have to fulfill my promise with them. Although I've decided to back out, I can't be sure if they'll continue. Do you think that since I already know about this, it'll still happen. Black Crow laid his cards on the table. Wan Zhao's answer was straightforward. I don't think it'll happen. So, since it won't happen, why do you still care? Because I'll kill anything that's disadvantageous to me in the cradle. This was Black Crow's way of doing things. Once he knew that something unfavorable was going to happen, he would definitely kill it completely. That way, he wouldn't suffer any losses. But you have already succeeded in killing it. When your men brought us to that damned place of nuclear radiation, they had already killed it. Wan Zhao smiled. I think you might be overthinking it. I've already promised you that I'll part ways with them after the deal is over. Don't continue to make things difficult for me. Wan Zhao didn't have a plan to get the Buddha head back. What could he say? He didn't even think of handing over the Buddha head. Who knew that Black Crow would be so shrewd and find out what they were up to? Otherwise, their plan would have succeeded. Yes, maybe I'm thinking too much. Black Crow nodded. With your promise, I don't need to worry so much. Hee, Wan Zhao, I hope you'll have a happy life in Dongying. Remember, I'll always accept your cooperation. Wan Zhao nodded. Of course I remember, because we are all from Huaxia, right? Of course, Wan Zhao remembered this joke. He really wanted to ask Black Crow who gave him the courage to think that he was worthy of being a Huaxia. Of course, all the Chinese in the world are one family. Even if we're not doing any glorious business, we're still Huaxia people. Black Crow said, since we are from Huaxia, we have to stand tall in Japan so that the Japanese won't dare to look down on us. Wan Zhao admired He Ya's backbone. What he said was right. As long as they were Huaxia people, they had to straighten their backs so that the Japanese would not dare to look down on them. No one dares to look down on the strong. Poison Cherry rarely interrupted when Black Crow was talking, but this time she couldn't hold back. Mr. Wan, you're a strong person. If you cooperate with our boss, you'll be the strongest of the strong. Dongying is a nation that respects the strong. As long as you're strong enough, we'll respect you no matter what race you're from. Wan Zhao snorted. Yes, you Dongying people should respect every Huaxia person because in your eyes, all Huaxia people are strong. If Huaxia people weren't strong, how could they have chased away the invaders from Huaxia back then? Poison Cherry chose to remain silent in the face of Wan Zhao's unfriendly topic. She had no right to discuss this with Wan Zhao. Black Crow smiled and dispelled Poison Cherry's awkwardness. All hot-blooded men are patriots. However, that's all in the past. Let's not talk about it anymore. It'll affect our relationship. Wan Zhao, you're my good friend. Poison Cherry is also my good friend. Regardless of race, as long as we have common interests. Wan Zhao nodded. Yes, as long as we have common interests, as long as our own interests aren't damaged, what's the harm in losing the country's interests? Am I right? Although Wan Zhao said so, he didn't think so. He despised people like Black Crow. If he didn't put the country's interests in his heart, then what was his own interests? There was a saying that said, how could there be a small family without a big family? That's right. We just need to ensure our own interests. Everything else is fleeting. Black Crow said, sorry to disturb your rest. I'll arrange the transaction tomorrow morning. The Buddha's head needs your protection tonight. That's my responsibility now. Don't worry. Wan Zhao said, as long as the Buddha's head hasn't been transferred from my hands to someone else, I'll treat it as more important than my life. I admire men like you who have a sense of responsibility. Black Crow said, nice talk. Nice talk. Wan Zhao said, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. I don't want them to notice that I've been out tonight. Otherwise, they'll be suspicious. Black Crow smiled. Yes, we should be more careful with every step. Then I won't disturb you. See you later. Wan Zhao said and turned to leave. Poison Cherry and Black Crow exchanged a look. Poison Cherry nodded and returned to the Hot Spring Hotel with Wan Zhao. Poison Cherry also had her responsibilities. Before the Buddha's head left Wan Zhao's hands, she would protect it the entire time. People who often bought horses knew that the most dangerous part of a horse race was the final sprint. The transaction was tomorrow. Black Crow didn't want any accidents to happen on the last night. Therefore, he arranged many of his men around the hotel. He wouldn't allow any accidents to happen. This was his responsibility to the buyer. After all, his buyer wasn't an ordinary person. He was one of the richest men in Japan. It was difficult to protect such a big client. Therefore, there couldn't be any mistakes in this transaction. He didn't want to lose a client because of a cultural relic. It was rare to see such a crazy collector of Huaxia's cultural relics. Black Crow would never allow himself to make any mistakes. After watching Wen Xiao and Poison Cherry return to the hotel, Black Crow returned to his car and ordered his men to drive away. He didn't need to arrange the location of the transaction. It was at his villa. To be able to own his own villa in a place like Japan where every inch of land was worth its weight in gold, one had to admit that Black Crow was a guy that most Japanese would be jealous of. Black Crow relied on his identity as a cultural relic broker to expand his cultural relic empire in Japan bit by bit. He could even say without exaggeration that 80% of the cultural relics that Huaxia smuggled into Japan were arranged by him. Black Crow was very proud of this. He proudly called himself the godfather of Huaxia cultural relics in Japan. The golden Buddha head this time was also a big deal for Black Crow. He had done so many cultural relic intermediary businesses, and this golden Buddha head was the most valuable one. It was also the first business he had done that exceeded 100 million yuan. The rich collectors in Japan would definitely have private interactions with each other, and they would definitely show off their collections to each other. Therefore, as long as the transaction was successful, Black Crow's reputation would become even more famous. He, Black Crow, would become even more famous in Japan. At that time, his agency fee would not only be 8%. He would at least double it. He wanted to let all the rich people in Japan know that the items sold by Huaxia sellers that he, Black Crow, could contact were the best. If they wanted to buy something from him, they had to first check if their wallets were big enough. This was Black Crow's ultimate goal in Japan. Now, he was only one step away from his ultimate goal. After taking this step, he would have no regrets in this life. After returning to his villa, Black Crow still couldn't shake off the excitement in his heart. He couldn't even fall asleep. In the end, he had to rely on sleeping pills to help him fall asleep. In fact, insomnia was normal for Black Crow. After coming to Japan, there was almost no night without insomnia. Chapter 2022. Everything was going according to Su Yun's plan. In fact, when Poison Cherry went to Wen Xiao's room to leave, Su Yun had already been notified by Wen Xiao. Wen Xiao inadvertently coughed when he passed by the corridor. This didn't attract Poison Cherry's attention at all, but Su Yun, who had been waiting in the room for the plot to develop, heard it clearly. When Wen Xiao returned, Poison Cherry escorted him to his room to prevent him from doing anything. Wen Xiao didn't need to cough again to inform Su Yun of his current situation. Poison Cherry came to Wen Xiao's room and took off her jacket. "I changed my mind. You will get what you want today. You will be able to taste my flavor." Hee hee. Wen Xiao smiled faintly. He knew that Poison Cherry had received instructions from Black Crow to not let him out of her sight for the entire night. This was to prevent him from communicating with the other two. Therefore, Poison Cherry was willing to lose her virginity to keep an eye on Wen Xiao. The only way she could keep Wen Xiao in her sight was to sleep with Wen Xiao for the entire night. This was the only way she could ensure that Wen Xiao wouldn't say anything that shouldn't be said. Wen Xiao knew Poison Cherry's intentions all too well. "Actually, you don't have to do this. I won't go back on my word. Didn't you want to have a taste of me just now? Now that I've delivered myself to your doorstep, you won't eat me?" Poison Cherry's smile looked so gentle and pure, but how many schemes were hidden under this gentleness and purity? Wen Xiao sneered. "Unfortunately, I don't like things delivered to my doorstep." Poison Cherry was provoked by Wen Xiao's words, but before she could say anything, Wen Xiao spoke again. "However, It's not in my character to not take advantage of an opportunity. Take a bath with me and give me a good massage. Who knows? Maybe I'll take advantage of you when I'm happy. This damned man, how dare he put on such an arrogant front? Poison Cherry cursed in her heart. If Wen Xiao wasn't so important to them, how could she continue to stay here and endure Wen Xiao's manipulation? But now, everything was up to Wen Xiao. If Poison Cherry wanted to stay in this room, she would have to serve Wen Xiao well. It's my honor to serve Mr. Wen Xiao. Poison Cherry had already taken off her shirt as she spoke. It was not that Wen Xiao had never seen a woman's body before, but this one was definitely of the highest quality. Looks like you've served quite a number of people. Haha, I really don't know what kind of charm Black Crow has to make you love him so much that you're willing to do anything for him. Poison Cherry's expression changed abruptly when she heard this. She seemed to want to say something, but she hesitated in the end. What's wrong? Did I hit the nail on the head? Wen Xiao ignored Poison Cherry and climbed onto the bed. I won't take a bath. I didn't do anything today except soak in the hot spring. If I continue, my skin will be swollen. Poison Cherry still didn't say anything. She silently went forward and helped Wen Xiao take off his coat. Then, she straddled his waist and began to massage him. It's impossible for a man to like a woman who has served countless men. Wen Xiao sneered, so Black Crow won't fall in love with you because of what you've done. Can you stop talking? Poison Cherry finally couldn't take it anymore. Everyone had a bottom line, and Wen Xiao had repeatedly touched Poison Cherry's bottom line. Naturally, Poison Cherry couldn't take it anymore. Wen Xiao's laughter was still filled with disdain. I'm just stating a fact. If you don't even dare to admit this little fact, then why are you willing to do so much for him? Ha ha ha. Black Crow is just my boss. Poison Cherry said, Stop spouting nonsense. I'm talking nonsense? Wen Xiao nodded. Yes, I'm talking nonsense. But whether I'm talking nonsense or not, a certain someone knows best in her heart. Shut up. Poison Cherry finally showed a side of his temper. When she was angry, Wen Xiao's shoulders actually felt a rather strong kneading sensation. This woman was definitely not a simple woman. Her strength was definitely not the strength of an ordinary woman. Wen Xiao's lips curled up slightly. His probing had worked. This woman was not to be underestimated. She was very capable. Wen Xiao, I hope you can change the topic. Poison Cherry said, When I respect you, I also hope you can respect me. I don't need the same respect. I just hope you don't embarrass me like this. I admit that I love him, but I don't expect him to love me. So I'm willing to do anything for him. Why not? Wen Xiao grunted. Yes, of course you can. I didn't say that you can't. It's just that the price you're paying is a little too high. Sometimes, if a woman can be a little smarter, she might get more. Don't preach to me with your twisted theories. Poison Cherry said, We're not the same kind of people. Yes, I forgot. You're a woman. Wen Xiao snorted. I almost forgot. You're a Japanese woman. In this country where men are superior to women, you still want respect from me? Phew, you're thinking too much. Continue pressing. Put more effort into it. Why should Wen Xiao be polite to an accomplice of Hua Xia's cultural relics? Of course not. He wanted to order her around like a maid, like a servant, and like a slave to humiliate. For Black Crow, Poison Cherry could only silently endure all of this. She could only let Wen Xiao order her around. This place was not pressed properly, and that place was not pressed properly. Wen Xiao's instructions never stopped. Wen Xiao only stopped when all the male and female movie actors had stopped. Poison Cherry was really tired. Ever since the three of them came to Japan, she hadn't rested for more than an hour. She was tired, really tired. She only hoped that everything would end early tomorrow. Otherwise, she didn't know if she could continue to be energetic. After enjoying the comfortable Japanese massage, Wen Xiao placed the wooden box with the golden Buddha head under his head. I'm going to rest. If you're worried, You can continue to stay in the room and watch over me. But I have to remind you that it's best to leave before dawn. Don't let the two of them see you and me in the same room. That will arouse suspicion. Poison Cherry obviously knew this problem. Don't worry. I won't disturb you, and I won't let the two of them see. I'll leave now. Oh, now you're not worried that I'll collude with them? Wan Shao sneered. If you weren't suspicious earlier, you wouldn't have to suffer here. I'll be at your door. Poison Cherry was indeed angry. There was anger in her words. She felt that she was humiliated by Wan Shao. She would rather let Wan Shao vent it on her body. If she did that, she would only suffer physical humiliation. But now, she was suffering mental humiliation. This kind of mental humiliation made Poison Cherry feel even more uncomfortable. Okay. Wan Shao nodded. Then I'll be able to sleep more peacefully. Thank you. Poison Cherry ignored Wan Zhao's provocation and left Wan Zhao's room. Of course, she wouldn't really guard Wan Zhao's door. But from where she was, she could definitely see Wan Zhao's door at any time. Poison Cherry got a new room, one that faced Wan Zhao's room. She moved the mattress to the door and opened it. She laid on the mattress opposite Wan Zhao's room and could observe Wan Zhao's movements at any time. As long as Wan Zhao opened the door, she would know immediately. This was the most important night. She wouldn't sleep. If Wan Zhao knew that Poison Cherry was so dedicated, he would definitely admire her. Chapter 2023. The morning sun was always accompanied by the chirping of birds and the fragrance of flowers. If this was a vacation, Su Yun would really like this place. Unfortunately, his current mood was completely different from the chirping of birds and the fragrance of flowers. Su Yun didn't sleep well last night. The tense moment had arrived. Although Su Yun had arranged for Wan Shao to successfully infiltrate the enemy's inner circle, he still couldn't predict what Black Crow would do next. This feeling was quite unpleasant. Su Yun's worry was not without reason. A person like Black Crow would have countless ideas in his mind, making it impossible for you to see through him. The most troublesome thing for Su Yun was Black Crow's subordinates. He obviously didn't have that much money to hire so many people to work for him. After all, he wasn't a large-scale mafia organization. However, he had connections to borrow so many people from the leaders of the Japanese mafia organizations. These people also had so many guns in their hands. This was the most difficult thing for Su Yun to deal with. After all, they were in Japan. He wanted to capture the people directly under Black Crow's organization. He couldn't touch those people from the Japanese mafia organizations easily. If he really hurt those people, the Japanese would be involved in the investigation and it would cause him more trouble. Moreover, the mafia organizations would definitely not let go of this easily. Therefore, Su Yun couldn't touch those people who came to help. Su Yun couldn't provoke those people, but it didn't mean that they couldn't provoke Su Yun. Once Black Crow gave the order, these mafia organizations wouldn't care so much. They would really shoot. In this kind of situation, how could these mafia organizations be merciful to Su Yun and the others? This was the biggest problem Su Yun was going to face. Arranging for Wan Shao to enter the enemy's camp was to fight for the possibility of capturing the leader first. As long as Black Crow trusted Wan Shao enough, Wan Shao would have a chance to control the scene. Su Yun was gambling heavily this time. Not only did he gamble with the Golden Buddha head, but he also gambled with the safety of the three of them. If there was a slight mistake, the consequences would be unimaginable. A person like Black Crow would definitely not be soft-hearted. He would definitely eliminate those who threatened him. Only then could he rest easy and continue to be the godfather of Hua Xia's cultural relics in Dongying. To deal with him, Su Yun had to be extremely cautious. Finally, another night passed. Poison Cherry woke up earlier than everyone else. She packed everything and was ready to go. The first one to walk out of the room was Lin Gu. When he saw that Poison Cherry had not returned for the entire night, he laughed. "You must be tired. Are you worried that we will run away? How is that possible? We still haven't gotten half of the money. Of course I'm not worried about that. I'm here to pick you up. Poison Cherry had a habitual smile on her face. Our boss has already made the arrangements. After the call, I will take you to do the transaction. That's great. Finally, we don't have to endure anymore. Lingu said, You've even gotten panda eyes. Poison Cherry hadn't slept well for 2 days. How could she not have dark circles? Lingu went to Su Yun's room. When he passed by Wen Zhao's room, he didn't even look at it. Poison Cherry thought to herself, It seems that the two sides won't merge so easily. Su Yun was already dressed. He was waiting for Poison Cherry to inform him. Lingu smiled and pointed at the door. That girl probably didn't sleep all night. Her eyes are swollen. The more critical the moment, the more dangerous it is. Black Crow knows this. That's why his people are so cautious. Su Yun said, We have to be alert. This is the final moment. Don't worry, brother. Lingu said, We'll deal with it as it comes. No matter what happens, it won't be difficult for us. Su Yun took a deep breath. Let's hope so. At this time, when Xiao finally came out of the room, the wooden box with the golden Buddha head was definitely inseparable from him. Just as he leaned half of his body out, he saw Poison Cherry's figure. You really stayed here for the entire night? You're really hard-working. I really have to hand it to you. Looks like you rested well. Poison Cherry said indifferently, They're already in Mr. Su's room. Do you want to go over? Of course, I'm going. Wan Xiao nodded and pointed at the wooden box in his arms. This thing doesn't belong to me alone. After Wan Xiao and Poison Cherry knocked on Su Yun's door, Lingu looked at them strangely. I didn't expect the two of you to be so compatible. When did you two get so close? It's none of your business who I get close to. Wan Zhao's attitude towards Lingu was still the same as yesterday. If there was a disagreement, he would shut him up. Lingu, don't talk so much. Su Yun asked Lingu to leave and said to Wan Xiao in a more gentle manner, Wan Xiao, everything will be over soon. Thank you for your hard work. Don't take the unpleasant things that happened between us yesterday to heart. It's all because everyone was too nervous. Wan Xiao shook his head. Chairman Su, I'm not as petty as some people who can hold grudges for the whole night. These words were directed at Lingu. Of course, all of this was for Poison Cherry to see. Lingu glared at Wan Xiao but didn't say anything in the end. He just turned his head and sulked. Seeing this relationship, Poison Cherry felt more relieved. Wan Xiao, consider it as giving me face. Su Yun said, When the deal is over and we return to China, I'll definitely set up a banquet and let that little brat personally pour wine for you as an apology. Wan Xiao smiled. Is that so? I'm afraid I won't be able to bear it. But, what if I don't want to go back? Why don't you want to go back? Su Yun was stunned. There are still a lot of businesses waiting for us in Huaxia. Don't you want to make money? I do, but my risk is much higher than yours. Wan Xiao frowned after he said that. It seemed like he didn't want to talk too much about this issue. Let's talk about it after the deal is over. We haven't settled the matter at hand yet. It's too early to think about anything else. Su Yun nodded. Yeah, let's talk about it after we've settled the matter at hand. At this point, Su Yun and Wen Zhao's eyes focused on Poison Cherry. Poison Cherry naturally knew what the two wanted to ask. I'm also waiting for a call. Poison Cherry didn't wait for the two to speak. I'll take you there as soon as I get the call. Don't worry, there's no need to rush. Since we have to wait, shouldn't we do something to pass the time? Su Yun, 1, 2, 3, 4 people. That's enough for a table of mahjong. It's a pity that you don't have a mahjong room here. Forget it, let's make a poker game and play Fight the Landlord. Poison Cherry shook her head. No poker. You don't even have poker? If that's the case, then your lives are really too boring and tasteless. Su Yun said helplessly, then let's just look at the sky and wait. Fortunately, Black Crow didn't make them wait for too long. He called around 9 p.m. and asked Poison Cherry to arrange for them to go to his villa. He had already contacted the buyer. Everyone would meet at his villa at 10:30 p.m. After the deal was over, they would have lunch and drink together to celebrate. Phew! The last moment was finally here. When Su Yun learned that they were going to Black Crow's villa, he felt both excited and uneasy. The reason was simple. Since Black Crow invited them to his lair even though he clearly suspected them, he obviously had other motives. Could it be that Black Crow didn't plan on letting them come out alive this time? This guess might be true. Thinking about it from Su Yun's perspective, what would he do if he was in Black Crow's shoes? Of course, he would directly kill the other party. Chapter 2024. The car was on the road. This was probably the quietest part of the journey. Poison Sakura did not ask them to wear eye masks. It was meaningless. In her opinion, Wen Xiao was going to stay in Japan and work with Black Crow. Therefore, there was no need to hide the location of the villa. As for the other two, it was not certain whether they would live or die today. Even if they were alive, they would be under their control. Wearing the blindfold was meaningless to them. There was no need for Poison Cherry to waste her time and breath on it. After all, they didn't want to wear it anyway. It seems like Black Crow has decided to trust us. Su Yun remembered the route clearly. After traveling for nearly an hour, they finally arrived at the Black Crow Mountain Villa. This place was not considered a beautiful place in Dongying, but it was enough to make people sigh with emotion. It was indeed very beautiful. It was indeed much cleaner than Huaxia. If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't have brought you here for the transaction. This is our home. Anyone who can come here is one of us. Poison Sakura said, "This is the safest place. You don't have to worry about any accidents." The electric gate of the villa opened. The car drove all the way to the villa on the mountainside. Black Crow was already waiting at the door. When he saw the three of them, he showed unprecedented enthusiasm. "Boss Su, Wen Xiao, I'm sorry for making you wait. I have to be responsible for the buyer. I believe you will understand." "I understand. Of course I understand. If it were me, I would also like to do business with a responsible friend like you." Su Yun smiled. "I didn't expect this place to be so beautiful. There are so many fruit trees and walnut trees. The scenery is so beautiful. Black Crow, you really know how to cultivate your character. These are all legitimate businesses under my name." Black Crow smiled. "I have a real identity in Japan. I'm a fruit merchant. If I don't have my own orchard, how can I be called a fruit merchant?" "What a beautiful cover." Su Yun smiled. This black duck was quite capable. He must have a strong relationship in Japan. Otherwise, how could he get an identity? If someone didn't know him well, they would think that he was a Japanese through and through. Wen Xiao was not in the mood to appreciate the beautiful scenery. He looked around. Black Crow understood Wen Xiao's intention. He looked at his watch and said, "There are only 10 minutes left until the appointed time. The Japanese are very punctual. Let's wait in the living room for a while. Wen Xiao, it must be quite heavy for you to carry it all the way." "I'm used to it," Wen Xiao said casually. "Then let's go in and wait." "Please." Black Crow gestured for his subordinates to open the door and invite Su Yun and the other two into the room. Su Yun was wondering why Black Crow didn't arrange for a lot of people to be present. This really surprised him. There were less than 20 subordinates present. If they were to really fight, he, Black Crow, might not be their match. Lin Ge was most worried about this problem right now. He carefully identified these 20 people. From their bulging waists, he could tell that they must be carrying guns and other weapons with high killing power. After entering the villa, Su Yun praised some of the furnishings in Black Crow's room. They were all good stuff. Even a small vase was at least an official kiln from the Qing dynasty. "Looks like Boss Black Crow has quite a lot of good stuff here," Su Yun said, it can be open to the public like a small cultural relic museum, right? Ha ha ha, Boss Sue, you must be joking. Black Crow said, since we're in this line of work, we must have a passion for it. I started this line of work because of my passion for cultural relics. Su Yun nodded. He thought, what kind of twisted theory is this? You want to sell it because you like it? Black Crow instructed Poison Cherry to prepare tea for them. The Japanese tea ceremony was very particular. Unfortunately, no one was in the mood to drink tea. Everyone was speculating about what would happen next. Just as the first cup of tea was drunk, a huge Mercedes-Benz RV drove up to the villa. The doors of the driver's seat and the passenger's seat opened at the same time. Two Westerners in black suits quickly jumped out of the car. Then, the electric side-sliding door of the RV slowly opened. The first thing that caught Su Yun's eye was an expensive high heel. It was a combination of crystal and leather. It must be a luxury brand that dared to use such materials. Then, a fair, smooth, slender, and elastic long leg appeared with an extraordinary visual impact. The other party was actually a woman. Su Yun was stunned. The others were like him. They did not expect the other party to be a woman. Seeing that the buyer had arrived, Black Crow quickly got up and went out to welcome them. Soon, the owner of the beautiful leg appeared. Her height of 1.7 meters was enough to look down on all the females in the Japanese world. Her delicate face was like a beautiful Barbie doll. She was only in her early 20s, but she exuded a strong aura from head to toe. A tycoon was indeed a tycoon. A person who could casually pay 300 million for a Buddha head was indeed not simple. Bro, a woman. Lin Gu still couldn't believe his eyes. Wen Xiao was the same. He was still staring at the RV. He felt that the real main character would come out later, and this woman was just a canary for the main character. But as the car door slowly closed, Wen Xiao knew that his guess was completely wrong. There was no one else, and this woman was the real main character of today. Such a young girl was actually the buyer. Su Yun was also full of doubts. This was completely beyond their imagination. How was this possible? Heavens, how many men in the world would feel inferior to her? Su Yun dared to say that she was one of the most beautiful billionaires he had ever seen. She was also the youngest billionaires he had ever seen. Okuba-san, you're here. Black Crow was very respectful towards her. It was obvious that she was of noble status. You're too polite. However, this noble young lady did not treat Black Crow with her arrogance. Instead, she replied politely. Black Crow was flattered. Okuba-san, please come in. The seller of the Buddha head is already waiting for you. The noble lady paused for a moment, then looked at the time on her watch. It was obvious that she was very strict about time. Okuba-san, you're not late. They just arrived a few minutes early. Black Crow understood what she meant. Please come in. That's good. I thought I was late. In the reception room, Su Yun and the other two looked at each other. Just who was this girl? They didn't have any confidence at all. Give the Buddha head to her? And then they would go and steal it? Let's not even talk about whether or not they could steal it. She was so beautiful and so polite. Wouldn't they be embarrassed to try and steal it? Even if she was Japanese, so what? Wouldn't they be embarrassed to try and steal from such a polite, beautiful, elegant, and rich girl? Phew, this buyer really exceeded everyone's expectations. Su Yun was really impressed by Black Crow. He was really amazing. Chapter 2025. When the buyer and seller met in the living room, Su Yun and the others stood up politely. The girl's smile made people feel comfortable. She bowed slightly and greeted Su Yun and the others in return. Black Crow politely invited everyone to sit down. Both the buyer and seller were Black Crow's guests. When all the guests were seated, Poison Sakura finished pouring the tea. Black Crow was the last to sit down and ordered Poison Sakura to serve the guests tea. When Poison Sakura brought the first cup of tea to the imposing Okubeo-san, she frowned slightly. In Dongying, we're considered the masters. Gentlemen, Hua Xia came from afar. You should serve the guests first. She was a so-called super-rich beauty. She used the same honorific to address Poison Sakura, who was a servant. It really made people feel comfortable. Yes, Okubeo-san's teachings are correct. Poison Sakura immediately brought the cup to Su Yun. Su Yun and the others were even more surprised now. This Okubeo-san's Chinese was really good. It was almost as good as Hua Xia's. Su Yun didn't expect her to communicate with them in Chinese. Ladies first. Since the girl was so polite, Su Yun naturally had to show his gentlemanly side. I didn't expect you to speak Chinese so well. You flatter me. She was very humble. No matter what, this girl gave people a comfortable feeling in all aspects. She didn't have the princess syndrome of having some money. In this society where poor girls could be spoiled to have princess syndrome, as a super-rich beauty, being able to communicate with people in such a down-to-earth way could be described as a virtue. Black Crow finally cut to the chase. Okubeo-san, this is Chairman Su, who came from Hua Xia. The golden Buddha head was found by the Jutsai group. He, Chairman Su is young and talented. To be able to obtain this item, he must be extraordinary. After introducing Su Yun, Black Crow introduced Wen Xiao. This is Wen Xiao, the escort of the golden Buddha head. After saying that, Black Crow habitually ignored Lin Gu. It couldn't be helped. It was Lin Ji's fault for playing the role of a lackey. After introducing Su Yun and the rest, Black Crow began to introduce the buyers. This time, he was much more formal. Mr. Su, this is Miss Okubo, a very famous military family in Japan. Miss Okubo's ancestor was a very famous military general in the Warring States period and the early Edo period, the Edo shogunate's name. It was very obvious from Black Crow's attitude that he was full of flattery. That's all in the past. Mr. Black Crow, please don't mention it. Our Okubo clan isn't a big clan in Japan, Okubo Chiyami said faintly. Please excuse us. This wasn't even considered a big family, but it was already big enough. They could casually pay a few $100 million, and they still weren't considered a big family? The Koizumi clan, Abe clan, Asu clan, Fukuda clan, and Hatoyama clan are the real big families in Japan. Okubo Chiyami said modestly. This was true. These 5 big families were definitely big families in Japan. If it was based on how long their members had been in Japanese politics, the Koizumi clan was undoubtedly the #1 family in Japan. The Japanese parliament had a history of more than 100 years, and the Koizumi clan members had a place in the parliament for more than 90 years. During the Meiji Restoration, Japan actively expanded its military. The Koizumi clan's arms business grew bigger and bigger, and they accumulated a huge amount of wealth. Then, they had the idea of entering politics. Since then, the Koizumi clan's 3 generations, including Koizumi Stupid Wolf and his father, Koizumi Stupid Wolf, were all members of parliament. Koizumi Stupid Wolf even ascended to the position of prime minister. This family naturally couldn't be compared to an ordinary family. The Abe clan was also amazing. They almost had 4 prime ministers. Before the Abe clan's 3rd son, they had 2 prime ministers. If it wasn't for the fact that Shintaro Abe had committed some kind of heinous crime and died a few days before he became prime minister, this family would have had 4 prime ministers in one go. The Asu clan was the coal king of Japan. They made their fortune by squeezing the blood of laborers in North Korea, Hua Xia, and many other Asian countries. The Hatoyama clan entered politics from the legal world. They were definitely one of the most powerful families in Japan. The Fukuda clan was also not simple. Both father and son were prime ministers of Japan. Therefore, the big families that Okubo Chiyami mentioned were quite amazing. Almost the entire political economy of Japan was controlled by these big families. When she said that her family couldn't compare to these families, there seemed to be a hidden meaning. That was, other than these families, they really didn't care about the rest of the Japanese families. Okubeo-san is so modest. Black Crow smiled. Su Yun noticed that Black Crow didn't call her Miss Chiami, but directly called her Miss Okubo. What was the reason for this? Could it be that the big Okubo clan was already controlled by this young girl? That's really amazing. Su Yun could only admire. This is not modesty. It's the truth. Okubo Chiami smiled slightly. Black Crow-san, the purpose of my coming here today doesn't seem to be to talk about family history, right? I'm really sorry, Miss Okubo. I'm a little excited today. It's so valuable that I can't even tell what's more important. Black Crow smiled, then turned to Wen Xiao and said, Wen Xiao, now that Miss Okubo is here, shouldn't you take out the thing? Wen Xiao didn't speak, silently putting the wooden box in his hand on the table. In this room, there were no subordinates. The only one who served was Poison Sakura. Everyone else was outside the house, including Okubo Kiami's 2 personal bodyguards, who were also guarding the door. Through the huge floor-to-ceiling glass, Lin Ge could see clearly that the people outside were completely normal. The wooden box was placed on the table, and Wen Xiao carefully opened it. The golden Buddha head finally appeared in front of everyone again. After seeing the golden Buddha head again, Black Crow still couldn't control his excitement. This treasure was really too tempting. No wonder Yi Wanyang wanted to sell it a second time. If he, Black Crow, wasn't worried about the Okubo clan's status in Japan, he would have been tempted to steal it once. This is the goods this time, the golden Buddha head. Wen Xiao took the Buddha head out of the box and said to Okubo Chiami, Please carefully inspect the goods. Okubo Chiami looked at the golden Buddha head on the table and took a deep breath. She almost held her breath to observe it. It could be said that she looked very carefully, and presumably also studied cultural relics. But she was so young, what kind of research could she have? Su Yun really didn't believe that she could see anything. Sure enough, it didn't disappoint me. It's a top-quality item. Okubo Chiami nodded, seeming very satisfied with this treasure. Black Crow-san's things will never disappoint me. Miss Okubo, you flatter me. Black Crow also became modest. This thing is really hard to find. If I had as much wealth as Miss Okubo, I wouldn't hesitate to take it for my own collection. It's too valuable. Okubo Chiami nodded. That's right, it's too valuable. This money is worth it. Since that's the case, I'll pay the balance. Wen Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and directly asked for the money. I have a condition. Because after this cooperation, I will part ways with the boss, but the boss hasn't given me the money that he promised me. So, I hope that Miss Okubo can give me the 48 million that belongs to me directly, and then give the rest to Mr. Su. Chapter 2026. Looking at Wan Zhao's attitude, it seemed that they would go their separate ways after getting the money. Wen Xiao, now is not the time to talk about this. Su Yun's expression was a little awkward. What belongs to you, not a cent less. We'll talk about it when we get back. Miss Okubo hasn't finished inspecting the goods yet, and you're in such a hurry to ask for money. Don't you know the rules? When she finishes inspecting the goods and transfers the money to your card, there's nothing left for me to do. Wen Xiao said, Of course I have to bring it up first. You, Black Crow, hurriedly acted as a mediator. Everything can be discussed. Let Miss Okubo appreciate the Buddha's head first. You guys arguing about this issue is too much of a killjoy. Okubo didn't seem to care. It doesn't matter. Everyone has the right to speak in front of benefits. I've checked the goods, and there's no problem. In that case, Miss Okubo should prepare to pay. Wen Zhao's acting was more realistic, so he couldn't wait to show that he wanted the money. This way, Black Crow would be more certain that he wasn't going to return to Huaxia. Black Crow watched everything closely. He knew that as long as Wen Xiao got the money, he wouldn't continue to be on the same side as the other party. At that time, Wen Xiao would basically be half of his own people. Su Yun's face was sullen. Wen Xiao, you have to think clearly about who protected you in Huaxia. If it weren't for us, you would have been arrested by the police. How would you have the chance to come here and earn this money? That's because I have value. That's why you came to me. Wen Xiao said, I also helped you earn money. We don't owe each other anything. President Su, let's part on good terms. It'll be convenient for us to meet again in the future. Who knows? Maybe we can cooperate in the future. Su Yun was silent for a minute before he had to say, Okay, let's part on good terms. Wen Xiao, I'll give you what you want. Okubo didn't participate in the other party's internal dispute. When the two sides finished discussing, she slowly said, How do we settle the balance? Give him 48 million and leave the rest to me. Su Yun said lightly. Okubo nodded without any objection. Black Crow took out a computer and quickly prepared the payment page for Okubo Chiaki. Wen Xiao didn't hesitate and personally entered his account. It didn't matter. Anyway, the money was transferred to the country, and it was just divided into two accounts. Okubo Chimi transferred 48 million to Wen Xiao without objection, and then transferred the rest of the money to Su Yun's account. Everything was easily solved. Then this thing is mine now. Okubo Chiaki did not seem as excited as she had imagined. She smiled slightly and tried to reach out to hug the Buddha's head. She shook her head in surprise. It's actually so heavy. Black Crow nodded. This is made of pure gold. It's too heavy. Luckily, I brought 2 movers with me. Okubo Chimi smiled. The 2 porters she mentioned were the 2 bodyguards outside the door. They were not ordinary people at first glance. Miss Okubo, since the transaction is completed, let's have a drink to celebrate. Black Crow suggested. Such a precious thing has a historic moment. It belongs to Miss Okubo from now on. It's a moment worth celebrating. Okubo Chiaki shook her head. There's no need to celebrate. I have other things to do. Mr. Black Crow, thank you for your concern. Thank you, Mr. Su and Mr. Wan, for bringing this thing so far to Dongying. Miss Okubo, you're welcome. Su Yun smiled. He was a little anxious when he thought that this thing was going to be taken away by this woman, but now was not the time to make a move. He couldn't directly control the whole scene. If Okubo Chiaki was present, once he made a move, who knew what the Okubo family would do? Now he could only let Okubo Chiaki take the Buddha's head away first. After Su Yun solved Black Crow's matter, they would find a way to get the Buddha's head back. We'll all be friends in the future. Okubo Chiaki said, if there's a chance, we'll cooperate together. Yes, if there's a chance, we'll cooperate together. Su Yun nodded. He was a little absent-minded. Such a national treasure was about to fall into someone else's hands. Okubo Chiaki called 2 bodyguards to come in and take the thing, and then said goodbye to everyone. I'll go first. You guys take your time. Mr. Black Crow, you must treat our Huaxia VIP well. Miss Okubo, please rest assured. I'll treat our VIP well. Black Crow nodded. In this way, the priceless golden Buddha's head was taken away by Okubo Chiaki under the eyes of Su Yun and the others. Wen Xiao couldn't help but want to make her stay several times. But Su Yun didn't give them any instructions. Wen Xiao knew that Su Yun had more considerations than them. He couldn't make a move now. Since he had his own considerations, he must have his reasons. Endure. He could only endure. Black Crow personally sent Okubo Chiaki away. Such a priceless cultural relic was taken away by a woman and 2 bodyguards. Phew. Lin Gu was also anxious. His forehead was sweating. He really didn't know when Su Yun would order them to make a move. Now that the other party only had 20 people in their hands, they had a chance. As long as Wen Xiao had Black Crow under his control, they would have the upper hand. After sending Okubo Chiaki away, Black Crow returned again. Since Miss Okubo has something to do and left first, let's celebrate? I don't think there's a need to celebrate. Wen Xiao tried to use his actions to stimulate the reaction of the matter. My mission has been completed. The cooperation with Chairman Su has also ended. I should leave. Where are you going? Black Crow was startled. Even his address became intimate. Brother Wen Xiao, if you want to stay in Japan, why don't you play with me for a few days? Wen Xiao, you're really ruthless. Su Yun sneered. Okay, since you want to stay, I won't disturb you. You can enjoy your Japanese life here. We'll leave first. With that, Su Yun was about to leave with Lin Gu. At this time, the 20 people who had been outside all took out their weapons and surrounded the entire house. Black Crow smiled. Why are you in such a hurry? Chairman Su, can't we sit down and have a good talk? Su Yun's expression changed. Black Crow, what do you mean? The deal is done. The cooperation between us is also over. You've already gotten your money. There's no need to make things difficult for me now. Chairman Su, I really don't mean to make things difficult for you. I just want to be friends with you. Black Crow said. Sit down. Don't be so anxious. As you can see, the Okubo family is not a small family. You can't be delusional that the two of you can take back the things from the Okubo family, right? Black Crow, Wen Xiao has already jumped team. I won't cause trouble for myself. Su Yun, let's part on good terms. We still have to work together in the future. Black Crow had no intention of letting them go. I'm afraid I can't agree to Chairman Su's request. If you want to leave, wait for me to contact Chairman E. It won't be too late for me to send you away after he explains this matter, right? Black Crow, if you do this, I'm afraid you're going overboard. Su Yun frowned. That's enough. Why bother? It's over. Let's not pursue it. Chapter 2027. I'm afraid that won't do. Black Crow smiled. I haven't figured out what's going on yet. Chairman Su, oh Chairman Su, don't be so anxious. If you want to detain them by force, then don't blame us for being rude, Lin Gu said sternly. Don't be so untrustworthy. We've completed the deal. Send us away. Black Crow waved his hand, and more than 20 armed subordinates immediately got ready to move. His goal was clear, to capture Su Yun and Lin Gu. No matter what, he couldn't let the two of them go. He would never do something like releasing a tiger back into the mountains. They were here to capture Black Crow, so how could they allow Black Crow to capture them? Just as Black Crow, Poison Cherry, and the rest let their guard down against Wen Xiao made his move. With lightning speed, he controlled Black Crow in his hand. No one knew when, but a bamboo stick used to cut tea leaves appeared in his hand. He pressed it against Black Crow's throat. Because Wen Xiao used too much strength and moved too suddenly, the bamboo stick had already drawn blood on Black Crow's neck. The sudden turn of events caught everyone off guard. Poison Cherry was also stunned. She was responsible for protecting Black Crow. Her attention was focused on Su Yun and Lin Gu. She didn't notice Wen Xiao's move at all. It was too late. Black Crow was controlled. No one dared to act rashly. Stand down. Poison Cherry was even more worried about Black Crow's safety. She ordered her subordinates not to act rashly. Black Crow's mind was in a mess. He didn't know why Wen Xiao would do this. This wouldn't benefit Wen Xiao at all. Brother Wen Xiao, what's the meaning of this? Shut up, Wen Xiao said coldly. You've hurt my trust in you, Black Crow said. Why are you doing this to me? If you just want the two of them to leave, then there's no need for us to be at daggers drawn. We can talk things over. If you fight, you won't benefit from it. Wen Xiao gritted his teeth. I only need to use a little bit of strength to bleed out your aorta. Tell me, I won't benefit from it. Wen Xiao, don't do anything rash. Tell me what you want. Poison Cherry was very nervous. She loved Black Crow too much. Black Crow tried his best to remain calm. I understand. You don't want to be an unrighteous person. All right, I promise you. I'll let them go. Is this okay? Shut up. Wen Xiao scolded Black Crow again. If you want to live, you'd better shut up. Su Yun knew that the act was over. Black Crow, I think it's better if I tell you the truth. We're not here to trade relics. We're here to capture you. Black Crow was taken aback. Capture him? Could it be that Yi Wanyang was really finished as he had guessed? But that was impossible. Capture him and use his golden Buddha head as a sacrifice. To Hua Xia, this golden Buddha head that was worth more than 300 million was not just a matter of money. It was priceless, a priceless treasure. How could they use a priceless treasure as the price to capture him? Are you kidding me? Black Crow didn't believe it. Who's in the mood to joke with you? Lin Gu spat. If it wasn't to capture you, why do you think we'd put in so much effort to come all the way to Japan? There was nothing to hide since he had already said it out loud. Wan Shao held Heya tightly in his hands. Heya, let me tell you, Yi Wanyang's cultural relic smuggling group is completely finished. You're the same. You're finished too. All these years, how many Huaxia cultural relics have ended up in Japan because of your manipulation? You should be sentenced to death. Black Crow's relaxed expression had completely disappeared. You're here to capture me. Capture me? Humph. Do you really think you can take me away from Japan? If I can't, I'll kill you. Wan Shao said. Do you really think you can escape? You'll compensate me 3 times for killing me. I don't believe you'll do such a losing deal. Black Crow sneered. Try it if you dare. Don't force me. Wan Zhao's eyes were red. Don't be rash. Poison Cherry saw Wan Zhao's state and couldn't calm herself down. If you have any requests, just tell me. We'll definitely reach a consensus. I guarantee that the 3 of you will reach the international waters safely. You promise not to hurt him. Black Crow was speechless. Are you stupid? They're here to capture me. Do you think they'll let me go? I'll give them a chance to live. Why won't they let you go? Poison Cherry was most worried about Black Crow's safety. Looking at the blood on Black Crow's neck, she felt as if her heart was being stabbed by needles. It was all because of her carelessness that Black Crow was controlled by Wan Shao. Inform Blackwater Sook immediately. Tell all his men to come up. Black Crow roared. Surround the entire villa. I don't believe they'll let me die here. This guy was really shrewd. Su Yun turned around and pinched Heya's face. His fingers almost pinched his teeth out. Heya, are you trying to play hard with me? Su Yun, will tell you today. Even if I die here today, I'll make sure you and your villa are reduced to ashes. Although Black Crow's mouth was pinched, he was still stubborn. Don't talk big. How many things here are national relics? Are you willing to destroy this place? Ha ha ha. I only need to use these things to threaten you. You won't dare to do anything to me. Black Crow was really good at reading people's minds. He knew all too well what Su Yun wanted. That was why he dared to say that. That was why he wasn't afraid of them. You'll only be able to do something if you can safely transfer everything out of here. Black Crow said. I swear, as long as I die, these things will all be destroyed. Su Yun was so angry that he gritted his teeth. I'm telling you, if these things are destroyed, you'll definitely die. The feeling of not being able to do anything to Black Crow made Su Yun very uncomfortable. No one knew who informed Kuroshui, but more than 10 minutes later, hundreds of people appeared at Black Crow's villa again. The huge crowd surrounded the villa halfway up the mountain. A typical boorish Japanese was none other than Ryosuke Kueishui. Kuroshui saw the situation and glared. He screamed in his ugly Japanese, "If you dare to hurt a single hair on Mr. Black Crow's head, I'll make sure you die without a complete corpse." There were dozens of guns among his people. Those who didn't have guns didn't have empty hands either. They had all kinds of controlled knives. It was obvious that Black Crow was prepared. He knew that the human wave tactic was a very practical tactic. He also knew that if the other party was Hua Xia's police, they would definitely have something to worry about. Su Yun, look carefully. I'll give you time to think carefully. Do you want to continue like this, or do you want us to negotiate peacefully? Black Crow said. Su Yun sneered in his heart. It was already like this, and they still wanted to negotiate peacefully? Who was he kidding? Only a fool would believe that there was still a peaceful way to resolve this matter. Su Yun only knew that if this continued, it would be very troublesome, very troublesome. He had to find a way to solve this problem and take Black Crow away. Sometimes, having more people was really a method. Su Yun really didn't know what to do now. Chapter 2028. Black Crow looked very proud. Kuroshui is an important figure in the Fujiwara group. Since he can bring so many people here, you should know what you're going to face. Director Su, if you dare to touch the Fujiwara group, I can guarantee that the Fujiwara group will make sure that you won't even have a bone left in Japan. The Fujiwara group was a relatively famous organization in Japan. It had only risen in the past 10 years. Su Yun had heard of it before. Although they could not be compared to the Yamaguchi-gumi or Iguchi-gumi, the founder of the Fujiwara group, Fujiwara Sho, was a ruthless person. Although the number of his subordinates could not be compared to a large organization that had tens of thousands of people, the members of the 1,000-person organization were all ruthless characters. The requirements to join the group were also very high. Fujiwara Sho was someone who had studied abroad. When he studied abroad in the United States, he displayed his talent for crime. As everyone knew, marijuana was rampant in the United States. Even in high school, one could see a lot of it. Fujiwara Sho also liked it. Because of this need, Fujiwara Sho got to know Jefferson from the United States. Then, Jefferson brought him to try the real strong drugs. Later on, Fujiwara Sho used his intelligence as an agent to help Jefferson plan many successful drug deals. Later on, through Jefferson's introduction, Fujiwara Sho got to know the drug lord of Japan. The drug lord was not only in this line of business, but also in the arms trade. Therefore, after Toshi Fujiwara returned to Japan, he used this connection to obtain a portion of the weapons. With this portion of the weapons, he quickly organized the Fujiwara group that he founded. After 10 years of meticulous construction, the Fujiwara group became a well-known violent group. In Japan, very few people were willing to provoke the Fujiwara group. Even those people from large organizations were not willing to cause trouble for themselves. Therefore, Su Yun also knew what the consequences would be if he did something to the Fujiwara group. However, he had no choice now. If he was timid when it was time to make a move, he would not have the chance to regret it when he was controlled. If he resisted now, he might offend the Fujiwara group and add endless trouble to their departure from Japan. However, if he did not resist, he might not even have the chance to escape from this villa. Su Yun took a deep breath. When it was time to act, he would act. Kuroshui seemed to be used to being arrogant in the Fujiwara group. He didn't think that the other party would dare to do anything to him. He strode forward without any precaution. Let's see who dares to be rash. Before he could finish his words, Su Yun had already made his move. Even if Heishui Jie was powerful, he was just a brute. It was impossible for him to be Su Yun's opponent. At this time, Venomous Cherry also made her move. She wanted to interfere with Su Yun. She couldn't let Su Yun control Heishui Jie. Once Heishui Jie was controlled, the situation wouldn't be good. Fortunately, Lin Ji's attention was focused enough. The moment Poison Cherry made her move, he followed up and shielded her behind him. Su Yun quickly whipped Urji Heishui until his face was bruised and swollen, and directly controlled him in his own hands. The principle of capturing the ringleader was useful at any time. This was Su Yun's experience. However, today, Su Yun really saw what it meant to not be useful. Don't bother about me. Everyone in the Fujiwara group should understand what the Bushido spirit is. What's there to be afraid of? As long as I can contribute to the Fujiwara group, even if I die, I won't hesitate. Judging from Heishui Jie's attitude, it was no wonder that he could become someone valued by Fujiwara Sho. It was because he had this spirit. F***ck, Su Yun thought that he was really unlucky. It wasn't easy to catch one, but he actually caught one who wasn't afraid of death. These guys who believed in the Bushido spirit were definitely not just saying that they weren't afraid of death. They really weren't afraid of death. Encountering this kind of person, Su-yun absolutely did not have any moves at all. Black Crow laughed in his heart. The reason why he asked Blackwater Jie for help was because he had the courage to do so. The reason why he liked to make friends with Blackwater Jie was also because he had the courage to do so. Today, regardless of whether Heishui Jie died or not, the Fujiwara group would definitely not let them go. Su-yun and the others couldn't escape. When Black Crow was confident that he had enough capital to get Su-yun to release him and sit down to have a good talk, the group of subordinates that Blackwater Jie brought with him exploded. Starting from the back, cries of surprise rose and fell one after another. The crowd also consciously made a path. In the path of the crowd, a silver Lexus appeared. Heishui Jie was very confused at first. After all, the Fujiwara group wasn't afraid of anyone. How could they make way for a car? However, when he saw this car, he understood. This silver Lexus was unique. It was a rather luxurious custom-made version. It was the car of their president, Fujiwara Sho. When the Fujiwara group saw Fujiwara Sho's car, of course, they obediently made way. When the car drove in front of them, Heishui Jie was even more proud. "Our president is here. You can't leave." Su-yun cursed in his heart. After wasting half a day, he actually caught a guy who wasn't the boss. Since the boss of the Fujiwara group was here, then the card in his hand was completely useless. Soon, the driver got out of the car and helped to open the door. As soon as Fujiwara Sho got out of the car, the subordinates present shouted in a deafening voice, "Hello, President." This posture was no weaker than when Hoshi Ronin became the boss of Tong Luo Burn. The momentum was completely in the hands of the other party. Su-yun and the other two had no possibility of contending with the other party. The three of them looked at each other. There was no need to say anything. They would directly start the fight. First, they would kill the two people in their hands. The rest would count. If they could kill one, they would earn one. Anyway, they might not be able to leave alive in the end. However, their deaths had to be worthwhile and meaningful. They couldn't let any of the Black Crow group go. They had to kill them all on the spot. What happened next directly changed everything. Fujiwara Sho's mind was not on them at all. With a dignified face, he raised his arm high and clenched his 5 fingers into a fist. Hundreds of Fujiwara group members quieted down. Fujiwara Sho personally opened the other door at the back of the car. The person who got out of the car was actually Zhua Langyue. Su-yun's jaw almost dropped. How could Zhua Langyue appear here? How could she be together with Fujiwara Sho? What the hell was going on? Su-yun really didn't have a clue. He was completely confused. "You really have a lot of people." After Zhua Langyue got out of the car, she said coldly in Japanese, "Tell them all to get lost." Fujiwara Sho nodded and immediately said to everyone, "All of you, get lost." Oh, so she was here to help them. Su-yun smiled. It was true that things would sort themselves out when they reached the mountain. He pushed Yu Heishui, who was under his control, away. Suk Kuei-shui staggered in front of Fujiwara Sho. "President, why is this happening? We want to help Black Crow. These 3 Huaxia people are here to catch Black Crow. We are Black Crow's friends. We can't just watch Black Crow be taken away. Our people can't leave." After saying that, Suk Kuei-shui shouted, "Stop. Don't go." The people who had received the president's order to get lost all stopped and looked at Suk Kuei-shui at a loss. Slap. Fujiwara Sho slapped Suk Kuei-shui in the face and shut him up. Black Crow realized that something was amiss. It was completely out of his expectations. "Shut up," Fujiwara Sho said coldly. Then he said to Zhua Langyue very apologetically, "Please forgive me. I'll handle it right away." "It doesn't matter. Don't let them go first." Zhua Langyue said disapprovingly, "He is my son. My son wants to take him away. I think you should know what to do, right?" "Yes." Fujiwara Sho said seriously and ordered his subordinates, "Surround Black Crow's villa. Take all of them down." Lin Guo added weakly, "Also, pack up all the cultural relics in the villa. We want to take them away." Zhua Lengyue smiled and told Fujiwara Sho about Lin Ji's request. Fujiwara Sho nodded seriously and ordered his subordinates to do it again. Black Crow and Poison Cherry were completely dumbfounded by this sudden change of ownership. Suk Kuei-shui was also confused. He had no idea what was going on. "Boss, when did you have such a young mother? Her identity is not ordinary." Wen Xiao grinned. Because Zhua Lengyue was still wearing sunglasses and it was Wen Xiao's first time seeing her, he did not recognize her as the Empress. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.